right. Okay, stand by. Here we go. Welcome to the program, everyone. My name is Brian Craig. It is Tuesday morning already. You're listening to Florida's longest-running radio show, the Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977, celebrating 49 years on the radio. All right, we've got a lot to cover today, a lot. There's a major breaking news story in regards to Iran. There's been another Iranian assassination plot against the First Family, this time against the First Lady, Melania Trump, and Barron Trump. Now, the Iranian, I'm going to go through the details of what we know about this at this moment in time, but this is a breaking and developing story that the mainstream media don't want to report. But in just the last couple of weeks, we now have two more assassination plots unleashed by Iran against the First Lady and Barron Trump, right? About 2 weeks ago, week and a half ago, there was an Iranian plot against President Trump in Turkey to take down Air Force One. Remember that? That's why he had to switch planes. There was an assassination plot right before that against Don Jr. That was a never-Trumper, not the Iranians. But then, right before the Don Jr. assassination attempt, Iran, and there was a major arrest of a terrorist about this. Iran had an assassination plot against Ivanka Trump, and was going to a plot to blow up her entire house with her family in it in Miami. So, my question to you all is this, that are on the left. At what point can you admit that the Iranian revolutionary Islamic lunatic government have to go? How many assassination attempts against the First Family are you going to tolerate? They've been trying to assassinate President Trump for years, and to my knowledge, these multiple assassination plots and attempts against the First Family are the first of their kind. This new one that's detailed in the New York Post is the first assassination attempt against a First Lady of the United States that I'm aware of. We've got assassination plots against Barron Trump, Don Jr., and Ivanka Trump. And, by the way, her entire family, which would include the president's grandchildren and son-in-law. I do not know of any assassination plots against the children of presidents of the United States in the past. Do you? Or of a First Lady? Do you? No. President Trump's had more assassination attempts and plots against him than all of the other presidents combined. There comes a point where you on the left have to, you that are never Trumpers have to say, hey, enough is enough. If this was going on against any other president, regardless of political party, those of us in the MAGA movement, those of us who are Republicans, would call on the elimination of that country. President Trump, as far as I'm concerned, can unleash a nuclear attack on every square inch of Iran over this, because that's all it's going to do. This one was one of the worst, which I'll get to in detail in a few minutes. But I'd like to hear your thoughts on this on the phone. What do you liberals have to say for yourself? What do you Democrats and never Trumpers have to say for yourself? 888-465-2631. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Brian. Doc from Texas.
Yes, Doc. What's on your mind? What are your thoughts?
How are you this morning?
I'm not well. I am not well. The Iranians are trying to assassinate the First Lady and Barron Trump.
Okay. Question. How in the world are they going to go get near Barron or First Lady?
I read through this. I'm going to read through the story in just a little bit. But come on. That's what you have to say? There have been...
How?
There have...
How? Tell me
well,
how they're going to do it.
And they released a video, the Iranians, calling on Muslims in America to do it. And in the video, they detailed places that she frequents, places she shops, and talks about going there and leaving behind toxins and poisons on clothes that she might try on or walk near. It's a very detailed plot. That's how.
It's easy if they protect her. If the Secret Service do their job, protect her. And you know what? The reason we
You're not. Are you even upset at Iran over this?
Brian, let me explain something to you. I'm upset at the whole situation.
No. Do you think that Iran has gone over the line?
Brian, yes, they have.
Okay, so what do you want to do about it? What do you think the president should do about these plots by Iran against the family?
Leave these crazy people alone.
Oh, surrender. You want, okay, so your solution is, hold on a sec. Oh,
they were fine.
We poked that bear. They were trying to kill President Trump when he was running for president last time.
Yeah, again, they poked the bear. Legal.
Okay, hold on a second here. So what you're telling me is it's President Trump's fault that the Iranians are trying to kill him and his family?
Exactly.
Oh, okay, so let me ask you this. So if a beautiful young woman goes to a club and she dresses provocatively, is it her fault if she gets assaulted by some creep?
Nope.
Well, that's what you're saying with the president and his family. And even if and what does Barron Trump, Melania Trump, Ivanka, or Don Jr. have to do with his actions as president?
They're the daddy. You know what?
They're the daddy? No, he's their daddy and husband.
Basically, because their situation, because their daddy is an idiot.
Oh, so it's Donald Trump's fault. Not Iran's not responsible. Donald Trump's responsible.
He messed with those people. He went there and messed with those people.
So when the Democrats assassinated President Lincoln, okay, was it President Lincoln's fault that the Democrats shot him at Ford's Theater, or was it the Democrats? Whose fault was it?
No.
Whose fault was it?
He went there and messed with.
He went to the play that night. He went to the play that night.
I don't know, Brian, about the president.
Do you know who? Do you know? Well,
I'm talking about this right
no. But I'm taking it away. I'm taking it away from your Trump derangement syndrome. Abraham Lincoln told. Abraham Lincoln told the slaveholding Democrat states that they could not leave the Union, they could not own slaves, and a Democrat assassinated him. So if he would have just left the Confederate States alone, that never would have happened, right? So you're saying it's his fault. What if President Kennedy didn't go to Dallas that day? So is it President Kennedy's fault?
You defecting.
No, this is called logical discussion. Taking it away from your Trump derangement. I'm deflecting. You're disgusting. You're disgusting. Get off my phone. Oh yeah. If President Kennedy didn't go to Dallas that day, it's called logical thinking, is what we're doing, right? And people with brains can do it. And I'm bringing up these other examples to take you out of your Trump derangement. See, Doc, that's how most Democrats feel. This is Trump's fault, not Iran's fault. Trump brought this on. Insane. Now, after the first break, I'm going to go to the details of the Iranian assassination plot against the First Lady, Melania Trump, and Barron Trump when we get back. The rest of you on hold, hang in there. If you'd like to share your opinions on this, the number's toll-free, 888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. It's a toll-free call no matter where you're listening. And I want to take a moment to talk about Jamie Levac over at Swift Tax. If you're a business owner and you're doing your own taxes, you are paying way too much in taxes. You need a tax professional, and that's Jamie Levac at Swift Tax. And also, those of you that are part of the gig economy, like an Uber or Lyft driver or DoorDasher, those types of businesses, you may not realize it, but you're an independent contractor, right? You get a 1099. You are a small business owner, and you need Jamie Levac. He specializes in small business taxes, and you are paying way, way too much in taxes. How many Uber and Lyft rides are you doing just for the government? How many DoorDash deliveries are you doing just for the IRS? Call Jamie Levac at Swift Tax. He can help you with your taxes no matter where you are located in America. His number rings directly to Jamie Levac at Swift Tax, so you can call or text 954-773-1587. 954-773-1587. His rates are incredibly affordable, and he will save you guys boatloads of money. And if you have a larger business, even brick and mortar, he can help you with that too, all right? Or a home-based business. 954-773-1587. Call or text Jamie Levac, 954-773-1587. All right, we're going to take our first break of this Tuesday. You are welcome to call in. The number is toll-free, 888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. I'm Brian Craig. You're listening to The Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. We'll be right back. Yeah, I'm not surprised that Doc thinks that way. Are you? The way that Doc is talking is how most liberals feel. That's how most liberals think, right? It's Trump's fault. Trump brought this on himself. And you know what's crazy about it? He's shameless in his thoughts. He does not even think there's anything wrong with him thinking that way. Is that not insane to you? Now, hey guys, if you could do me the favor of liking the video. When you like the video, you get the video recommended to people that have not yet found my channel. And liking the video, when you do that, you're helping out more than I can describe to you. And not only are you helping me out a lot, you're part of my marketing team. And when you like the video, if you get that boost option and you do that, that would even help a lot too. And I know a lot of you do that every day. Thank you. Please continue to do that, liking the video. And that brings a lot of new people to the program. It gets recommended to people that would be interested in this type of content. And that's the only marketing help I have, right, guys? Because I have no marketing team. I have no marketing budget except you in this listening audience. But you look at this this Iranian assassination attempt against Melania and Barron. This is insane because they're calling on Muslims that are in the United States to do it. And they basically gave them an instruction manual on how to do it. If you know of any types of plots like this against other first ladies or the children of a sitting president, I would welcome to hear about them. I don't know of any. I have never heard of anything like that. And there's some things that historically bring us together as Americans. Things like this usually bring us together as Americans, but as you could hear from Doc's call, the Trump derangement syndrome is so deep into the bones of the left, of Democrats, they can't see beyond that. And their hatred of Trump is equal to the hatred that the IRGC have of Trump. And they can't even pretend. Somebody that was a liberal who's filled with rage that has any type of common sense, they would say, I hate Trump like the plague, but this is wrong and it's too far and these Iranians need to be told and taught a lesson. But Doc couldn't get himself to say that. And I'll give Doc credit for this. He said out loud what all the other Democrats are thinking, right? All right, now if you're on hold, stand by. We have just over a minute and we'll be back. The number's toll-free, 888-465-2631. It's pinned in the live chat, all right? And I'm going to go through the details of the story, and I have some other things to cover as well. We'll be back in less than a minute. So I got a lot of stories to cover. I'm going to move on. After I go through the details of this, I'm going to move on to some other stories, but you're welcome to call in about anything I bring up throughout the show, all right? Okay, we got about 40 seconds to go. The call-in number is pinned in the live chat. And those of you that are new, welcome. My name is Brian. This is where MAGA comes to talk. I am live every morning of the week. And anytime you catch me in one of the studios, I'm taking live calls like you heard me do. And the calls are always welcome regardless of your opinions. All right, 20 seconds. 15 seconds. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig, and of course, we're talking about, if you're just tuning in, New York Post, Drudge Report, and others reporting a major plot by Iran to assassinate the First Lady Melania and Baron Trump. And I'm going to go through the details of this plot. I got a lot of stories to cover today, although this is the lead story, and I'm starting with it. I'm going to go through the details of the latest plot. I'm going to move on to some of the other topics, but you're welcome to call in about this or anything I bring up as the show goes on, all right? The number's toll-free, 888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. New York Post, headline, Melania and Baron Trump targeted by Iran in disturbing video encouraging their assassination. New York Post's, here's the byline, Emily Gooden, First Lady Melania Trump and son Baron are the latest targets of Iran's sick anti-U.S. propaganda. So remember, we have, these are the assassination attempts by Iran just in the last couple of weeks, okay? And I'm not including in this the assassination attempt 2 weeks ago where the guy was arrested against Don Jr., because that wasn't Iran, that was just a Trump derangement syndrome sufferer. But we have now Iranian assassination plots against Melania Trump, Baron Trump. Week and a half, 2 weeks ago, when the president was in Turkey, there was an Iranian assassination plot against the president to shoot down the new Air Force One. That's why he had to switch planes. And a week or two before that, there was a major arrest of an Iranian terrorist who had the plans to Ivanka's house and has a history of blowing things up, and as a terrorist was going to blow up Ivanka's house in Miami with her entire family in it, right? The president's daughter, the president's grandchildren, and son-in-law, Jared Kushner, okay? So, I mean, the Iranians have plotted to assassinate. How many kids does Ivanka have? 2, 3, I don't know, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The Iranians have plotted to assassinate about 8 members of the Trump family just in the last 3 weeks. New York Post. First Lady Melania Trump and son Baron are the latest targets of Iran's sick anti-U.S. propaganda. A new video out of Iran is encouraging supporters of the Islamic regime to assassinate President Trump's wife. The video's title that Iran put out, I am not going to say it out loud. It's in the article in the New York Post. I have that article on my X at Brian Craig Show. You can read it, but I'm not going to say it out loud. It's bad. The video shows images of the First Lady in the motorcade, and in some locations around New York City, even naming some of the designer stores that she shops. And the video says this: the shopping excursions could be suitable for operations by global freedom fighters. The Iranian video also suggested using a nerve agent to poison any clothes the First Lady might purchase. At the end of the video, Baron Trump is also threatened. It says, "This is just the beginning, Baron Trump. Wait for us." Okay. I mean, on Friday's show, you guys will remember, it might have been the first call I took on Friday. One of the first calls that I got on Friday, on Open MAGA Mike Friday, was a lady who was upset that the First Lady hasn't been by the president's side at appearances. She wasn't at the White House Correspondents' Dinner over the weekend. She didn't go to the transfer. She didn't go to the rally. She hasn't been making appearances. Well, now we know why. I wonder if that lady will call in and say, oh, now I understand, and retract her attack on Melania. Now we know why Melania hasn't been making appearances, because there's an Iranian plot. And this one is one of the worst, because they're calling on Muslims in the United States to rise up and do it and they basically gave them an instruction manual. And there comes a point where those of you that are liberal have to say to yourselves, they've gone too far. We're not going to tolerate this anymore. I believe that the president should just obliterate all of Iran right now at this point. I mean, you know, when you look at what this country has gone to war with for over the years, this is one of the top tier reasons to go to war. This is one of the top acts of war in the history of the United States. All right, let me take some calls. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, hey, Brian, Michigan calling, Danielle.
Hey, Michigan, what's up?
Terribly, hey. I had to listen to Doc, first of all, the thing that's just so distressing for my heart right now is, Doc just couldn't come flat out and condemn everything.
No.
And say how horrific and how awful this is. And the silence from the people on the left, you would think, Brian, that you would have Clinton's, Bush's, what's the other one's name? I forgot the other president, starts with an O. You would think that these people would come out and condemn to the highest degree of what's going on with how they're threatening our president and his beautiful family. This is very distressing. Doc, I'm so upset right now with just listening to your opening few words. This should be condemned to the highest level. And Brian, let me just say something. We need, we're at war, obviously. We are fighting a spiritual evil battle in this country. And we need mass deportations like we've never seen before.
Yep.
And I have a feeling that we're heading in that direction, but they are, there's a lot of people being taken out of our country that we just don't hear about. I'm extremely upset and distressed about this news, and just keep praying for President Trump and his family.
I mean, could you imagine what this would do to the country if even one of these things had been successful? It would. To me, when you look at the acts of, there have been several major acts of war. Pearl Harbor, 9/11. This is equal to or greater than those. Because I mean, we're talking about the children and the wife of the sitting president of the United States. And the Ivanka plot, they arrested a terrorist who had carried out multiple Islamic bombings, and when they arrested him, he had the plans to Ivanka's Miami home.
I've never in my life, Brian, heard of any of these threats to the president as much as we're hearing.
They've never happened before.
And if your callers aren't calling in, especially the ones on the left, and totally condemning what's going on, this is sick, Brian. I mean, we are in some sick times here, and I'm going to tell you something. This is all saying. Let me tell you something, Brian, to everybody on the left. Thank you, Biden. Thank you, Harris, for 4 years having our borders wide open.
Exactly.
And letting all of these people in our country.
Yeah.
4 years I sat in horror watching what they've done to this country, Brian.
Mm-hmm. Well, this
Yeah.
I hear you. This plot. This is the kind of thing that historically, like I give an example. When Reagan got shot, there's a very famous story. When he's about to be put under anesthesia for surgery, he looks up at the surgeons, and this is a true story. I've heard the doctors talk about it. He looked at the surgeons, and he said, "I hope you are Republicans." And the surgeon said, "We're all Republicans today, Mr. President." And then they did the surgery. And I've seen those surgeons interviewed over the years. They were Democrats. But, it was a different time. Now the Democrats in this country, they're low-life scumbuckets. And you heard Doc blaming Trump, not Iran. Yeah, you guys can attack Doc all you want, but let's give him credit for honesty, because that's what all the Democrats are thinking, isn't it?
It's true. Listen, Brian, it's a very sick. I would never wish this on Biden, Obama,
if this happened to any other president, I would support the elimination of Iran with nuclear weapons. You know, when Bill Clinton first became president, Saddam Hussein attempted to assassinate Bush 1, H.W. Bush, when he visited Kuwait when Clinton was first president. He launched a massive bombing campaign on Iraq in response to that immediately. You know, that's not the way the Democrats are now.
This is distressing, this is troubling, and I think we all need to strap in because I'm going to tell you something. There's going to be some major things between now and the midterms, and I have all the hope and faith in the world that we're going to do great in the midterms, because let me tell you, these people are lunatics.
They are.
These people are radicals, and what they want to do to our country, people had better wake up.
That's right. Well, listen, Danny, I got to run, Michigan, but I appreciate the call. Okay. And those of you who want to hold stand by, you're listening to the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show. My name is Brian Craig. If you'd like to call in, the number is toll free, 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. It's a toll-free call no matter where you are listening. And if you're on hold, stand by. We will go to the phones when we get back. But I want to talk to those of you who suffer from neuropathy or have a relative who suffers from neuropathy. Neuropathy is one of the worst things that someone can have. And you know, left untreated by Lighthouse Medical Center, the neuropathy, it only gets worse. The dizziness, the tingling in the hands and feet, the pain, all those symptoms, they only get worse as time goes on, unless you go to Lighthouse Medical Center and take advantage of the no-charge consultation they offer to Steve Kane Show listeners. You know, they're literally saving lives at Lighthouse Medical Center. You know, so many people you hear as they get older are dizzy. They fall down all the time. Those are people that probably have neuropathy. You know how many people fall? A good friend of mine and Steve's a while back fell and hit their head and died on the spot. They probably had neuropathy that causes dizziness. Call Lighthouse Medical Center. If you have a loved one, a husband, a dad, a grandma, a grandpa, someone in your family that suffers from neuropathy, call and make the appointment and take them. The consultation is free if you mention you heard about them on the Steve Kane Show. 754-222-6642. 754-222-6642. That's 754-222-6642. And online, lighthousemedicalcenter.com. We'll be right back. All right, those of you on hold, stand by. We'll be right back with your calls and more after this.
Our world is filled with confusion, deception, and uncertainty. Where can you turn for the truth? Bible Prophecy and Truth is a Christ-centered ministry dedicated to proclaiming the gospel of the Lord Jesus Christ and shining the light of God's Word into a world darkened by deception. Discover powerful videos that explain what the Bible says about salvation and what you must do to be saved. Explore fascinating teachings on Bible prophecy, the rapture. There's also an in-depth creation versus evolution study that will strengthen your faith and deepen your understanding of Scripture. And that's just the beginning. Whether you're a lifelong believer, a new Christian, or simply searching for answers, Bible Prophecy and Truth offers biblical teaching rooted in God's truth. Visit videos.prophecyandtruth.com. That's videos.prophecyandtruth.com and discover the truth. Strengthen your faith and grow closer to Jesus Christ. Videos.prophecyandtruth.com. Life can leave us with a lot of questions. Why did this happen to me? Why do I keep repeating the same patterns? And where is God in all of it? If you've ever asked those questions, you need to tune into the Healing Philosophers Podcast with The Healing Philosopher on Spotify. Honest conversations and real-life experiences. Each episode explores topics like healing from past hurts, generational karma, letting go of what's holding you back, understanding narcissism, and discovering how God can use even life's hardest moments for a greater purpose. The Healing Philosophers Podcast is about finding hope, growing in your faith, and realizing that your story in every season of your life has meaning. Add the Healing Philosophers Podcast to your Spotify playlist And make sure you share the podcast on all your social media and invite your friends and family to listen in too. Your share could be exactly what someone else needs right now. The Healing Philosophers Podcast with the Healing Philosopher on Spotify. Healing starts with one conversation. Listen now on Spotify.
Yeah, by the way, there's a link in the description to that podcast. You will definitely enjoy it. I listened to it. We'll be back in 1 minute from our radio break. I'm going to move on to some other topics because there's a lot of stories in the news. I will recap this story probably in the next hour, too, because it's this Iranian assassination plot on the First Lady and Barron's a pretty big story. But you're welcome to call in about anything I bring up as the show goes on, even though I move on to other topics. And if you'd like to call in, the number's toll-free and pinned in the live chat. And if you could all please like the video. Liking the video gets the video recommended to people that have not yet found the channel. So please take a moment to like the video if you don't mind. We'll be back in 30 seconds. The toll-free number to call in is 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. Less than 20 seconds. Welcome back. I'm Brian Craig. You're listening to Florida's longest running radio show. I'm going to move on to some other topics. I will recap as the show goes on the Iranian assassination plot against Melania and Barron. But I want to talk about this Fauci diary. Fauci, quite arguably, is maybe the most evil man alive today. Certainly in the top 5 or 10, no doubt about it. This Fauci private diary of his, what grown man carries and keeps a diary? Do you know of any grown men in your life that keep diaries? Diaries are for girls and women. Women call them journals. Little girls call them diaries. I don't know of any men who keep a private daily diary. And I wonder, did Fauci have his diary with a little locket with a little tiny key that goes on it? And, you know, the kind of man that, in my view, keeps a diary like Fauci is a narcissist times infinity. I mean, Fauci, not only is he one of the most evil men alive on the planet today, he's also one of the top 5 narcissists in the world, no doubt about it. Fox News reporting, newly released diary entries by Dr. Anthony Fauci offer an unfiltered look at what the nation's top infectious disease expert really thought of the politicians, television personalities, and celebrities who filled his orbit during the pandemic. Released by Senate Homeland Security Committee Chairman Rand Paul, the Fauci diaries chronicle Fauci's day-to-day role during the pandemic through meetings, phone calls, and personal observations. The release comes days before Fauci is scheduled to testify between the Homeland Security and Government Affairs Committee. The entries feature everyone from President Trump to Julia Roberts, Steph Curry, Larry Ellison, and Hunter Biden, offering an unusually personal look at the people who crossed Fauci's path. Early entries portray a warm working relationship between Fauci and Trump. Fauci wrote that Trump repeatedly directed questions to him during White House meetings, called him the smartest person in the world. We were counting on you, and later appeared enamored with him as Fauci's national profile grew. Fauci's relationship with the White House Chief of Staff at the time, Mark Meadows. And by the way, Mark Meadows, a little personal note here. I interviewed Mark Meadows on my podcast, and he actually, right after the interview, Mark Meadows told me this, by the way. Mark Meadows told me this. After the interview, the president was in the next room. He went and talked to the president, told him about me. That's what Mark Meadows told me. Okay, Fauci's relationship with White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows deteriorated throughout the pandemic. Fauci wrote that Meadows threatened to keep him off television, push him to soften his public messaging, and it goes on. And you look at some of these diary entries of Fauci's, and they are really sick and scary. This guy. I realized what a creep Fauci was during one of the early press conferences at the White House, and you guys may remember this one. This was, remember the president was doing these 2.5 hour press conferences, with Fauci and Birx and others. And this is when social distancing was new. None of us ever heard the term before. And Fauci was at this White House press conference, and he told this story how he and his wife went out, were walking around D.C., and he saw people lined up, him and his wife in line at a restaurant, and they were distancing. I guess, however, how far did you get? 3 feet apart, 5 feet? I can't remember how. And he was bragging about how he told his wife, "Look, they're listening to me. Look at this. They're social distancing." And I could see the ego explode. And some of these diary entries are insane. Here's one where, the Fox article is kind of mild. But when you get into the entries, here's one in early 2020 where Fauci wrote in his little diary how he was able to make the stock market drop. And he goes into this long entry, about himself, talking about a conversation he had with de Blasio. Listen to this. This is a diary entry of Fauci's. Okay, I spoke with Bill de Blasio and convinced him, based on what I was saying publicly in my conversation tonight, to close the the New York City schools. I went on to tell him that he should close the bars and the restaurants in New York City. I had a similar call with Ann O'Leary, the chief of staff to Gavin Newsom, the governor of California. Ann said that based on my TV appearances today and yesterday, the governor has decided to close the schools in California as well as the bars and restaurants. This is Fauci's diary entries. March 16th, 2020, Fauci writes this. Came out with the guidelines that reflected my pushing for more aggressive mitigation 15-day strategy. Stay away from bars, restaurants, theaters, sporting events. If a community has spread, close the bars, close the restaurants and places of congregation, close schools where there is community spread. No visitors to nursing homes. If a family member is sick, others in the family should take extra precautions, only necessary travel. Press conference was highly attended after stock market dropped by 3,000 points, the biggest percentage drop in history. So he ends his diary entry. Fauci ends his diary entry. First off, he's talking about his great control by just waving a wand over the country. I mean, he's affecting hundreds of millions of lives in the United States, and he's very impressed with himself. And then he ends the diary entry in the excitement that he alone gave the stock market its largest single drop in history. And he's excited about it because he's got the power. That's how powerful and influential I am, he's writing in his diary. Fauci is a sick, twisted narcissist. A sick, twisted narcissist. He's a lot of other things too. But when you're, first off, a man keeping a diary is a very strange thing. A very strange. And I'm not talking about a daily calendar, which I've been trying to do for years, right? And I haven't been successful at it. I keep everything in my head pretty much. But he's writing a diary and keeping a diary so that he can say all the things that he's thinking and get impressed with himself. And as the weeks and months went on, it got worse. There's other diary entries. I may share more. And I hope these sick, twisted narcissistic entries are read aloud in the televised hearing of Fauci. And Fauci's going to come in very arrogant because he got that pardon from Biden. Well, I got to tell you, Fauci, I do believe Fauci is one of the top 5 most evil men alive in the world today. No doubt about it. He's arrogant already, little Napoleon. But because he has an autopin pardon, he has a pardon from Biden, he's going to come in even more arrogant. Can't touch this. You can't touch me. I've got a pardon. If there was ever a time for an analysis of the pardons versus real versus autopin signature and how these pardons came to be, this is an example of it. Because if that pardon was given by autopin without the proper process of a pardon for the President of the United States to sign off on it, perhaps it's not a real pardon. I'd like to know the answer to that, wouldn't you? All right, if you're on hold, hang in there. The number is toll-free, 888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. It's a toll-free call no matter where you're listening. We're going to take our last break of the first hour and come back with more right after this. Yeah, I mean, do you guys agree with me that this is a time when looking at the process of that pardon, is if it was autopin, if it went through a process, if the president even knew about it? I think so. That pardon of his very well may not be a valid pardon. Now, those of you that are Medicare recipients, call Chapter. You know, Chapter can help you with your Medicare no matter where you're located in the United States. They'll review your policy at no charge. And if you have a policy where you're paying money, they'll make sure you're not paying too much. No matter what state you're in, you can call them. They'll review your policy at no charge. And because they're a national company, there were over 25,000 Medicare policies in the United States. And because they're a national company, they have access to all of them. All right? You'll talk to a licensed Medicare advisor. It costs you nothing. They'll compare all the plans. They'll make sure that you have the right plan and that you're not paying too much. Give Chapter a call, 805-754-3033, 805-754-3033. That's 805-754-3033, all right? And we'll be back from our radio break in about 90 seconds, maybe a little longer, less than 2 minutes. And if you're on hold, stand by. I'll take some more calls. And I have some other things to cover as well. Those of you that are new, welcome. My name is Brian. This is where MAGA comes to talk. Make sure you subscribe. And if you all could hit that like button, I'd really appreciate it. It really helps grow the channel. It really does. So please hit that like button if you've not already done it. And if you get that boost option after, please do that as well. And if you're on hold, stand by. If you'd like to call in, the number's pinned in the live chat. It's toll-free no matter where you're watching, 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. How many of you men out there keep a diary? How many of you keep a diary? You know? I don't know any man that keeps a diary. None. It's a very strange thing to do. It really truly is. No doubt about it. All right, let me check the time here. Okay. Okay, less than 30 seconds and we'll be back. Yeah, I don't think the pardon's valid at all. All right, 10 seconds. Welcome back, everyone. My name's Brian. Our number toll free, 888-465-2631. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
I'm Victor from Silver Spring, Maryland.
Hey, Victor.
I was more or less forced to take the COVID shot. That was the biggest regret of my life.
Well, listen, I don't want to hear everyone's COVID stories and all of that. I want to kind of focus in on what's going on here. And and with this Fauci diary, what we're finding out is this narcissistic lunatic, as his celebrity grew and he started talking to members of the media and movie stars, he totally changed. And that's when he started to become an advocate against President Trump and undermining President Trump, because he enjoyed the power that he was having, and it shows how sick and twisted he is. And I really think we need to have an investigation into these autopin pardons and find out if they truly are valid pardons.
I really wish I could sue the guy for
I don't want to. If I start hearing everyone's COVID story, that's gonna just be every phone call today. Everyone's got a story about COVID, and I'm sorry, appreciate it, Victor, but that's not the direction we're going to take the show today, because Fauci. See, this hearing that the Senate is going to have, and I hope it is televised. What it's going to do is. This guy is going to, because of the pardon, he's going to come in so arrogant that he's going to do himself in. And you know what's going to happen? It's been a while since Fauci has been the center of national attention. And when he gets in front of those TV cameras, it's going to be he's going to be like Norma Desmond in Sunset Boulevard when they're arresting her at the end. And they have all the lights of all the press taking pictures of her after she murders the guy. That's what Fauci's going to be like. Or remember when Sarah Palin was at that Trump rally and she went nuts in the funny shirt because she had not been on stage in a long time? So Fauci's going to have a hard time controlling himself, because he's going to be so excited to be on television again and in the center of attention. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, this is Steve from Staten Island.
Hey, Staten Island, what's on your mind?
Yes. Well, the thing is, on that policy thing, I mean, the guy, as you say, he gets more and more things that goes to his head, and which I believe that is the case. But the thing is that if that pass or whatever it is, that was actually not Biden writing it, but the mechanical thing that was the autographing with them, then that's not really the president doing it. It's just a machine. It's got to be the person, and you see when a president writes or signs a declaration or something, people are watching him.
The auto pen. The auto pen is for things like if you write the president and ask for an autographed picture, you'll get it in the mail and it's auto penned. The auto pen is for like letters that they write to people that write to the president. And it's not meant for big things like pardoning one of the biggest criminals of modern history.
Exactly. The thing is, it's got to be the president himself. You see him on the smiling to the camera.
And you know what? And you know what? Joe and Jill Biden are very well aware of that, because Hunter Biden's pardon was an actual signature of Biden's, not the auto pen. It's been analyzed.
Exactly. So that's the thing. Is where you have him perfectly correct, because it was his dad's signature. Where you got Fauci and maybe others is Mr. Mechanical doing the signing. We see people, the news people watching the president. He's got his little people around him, and he's smiling, and you see him signing this thing. So he's got witnesses. It's him.
Well, and there's also a process. And when the auto pen is deployed, There's an entire process like the nuclear football. You know, the auto pen, may be the most powerful invention in history, because with that auto pen you can bomb countries, right? You just got to sign the order with it. So whoever controls the auto pen is controlling the country.
Yeah, that's the scary part, where it's being controlled by a signing machine. That's what now people are getting a little more afraid of.
I would say the auto pen is, in many ways, more powerful than the atom bomb, because you can deploy atom bombs with the auto pen if you sign the orders, right? Think about it. You know, yeah.
Yeah, anybody could just press the button. Oh, Mr. President just signed this.
Yeah,
right.
drop the bombs.
And
Yeah, exactly.
You could do anything, from dropping the bombs to waging wars to doing whatever. You know, we got the signature. No.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we got with these people.
That's right. That's right. Hey, listen, I appreciate the call.
Thank you.
All right, take care. Yeah, man, yeah. If you're on hold, hang in there. The number's toll free, 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. It's a toll-free call, no matter where you are listening. There's a lot of stories I'm going to cover today, and again, as the show goes on, those of you that are new, you're welcome to call in about any of the stories that I bring up as I go through them. After the top of the hour, I am going to recap the Iranian assassination plot against the First Lady and Baron Trump. The media they don't want these stories reported, but we have multiple Iranian assassination plots and attempts on the Trump family, and in the last couple of weeks, they've got to be discussed and shared. I came across something today. There's a new poll out of Minnesota. You know, the Republican primary in Minnesota is coming up. Mike Lindell, of course, is running for governor. You know, he's in the lead by 9 points in the Republican primary in the latest poll, Mike Lindell. It's pretty, I know, right, with everything that's going on. You know, I've been getting a lot of comments from people. A guy even called the show yesterday about Mike Lindell, right? And you've heard this for the last few days. Are you going to drop Mike Lindell? The guy yesterday called in. Remember, he was the guy that turned out to be the Trump derangement syndrome sufferer that confronted Tom Laporta at that restaurant in Boca last year. And I've been getting comments online from people about it. And do I have time? Yeah, let me pull up one of them. Let me see if I can find this one. There was one in particular, and it really shows you all the comments I've been getting about Mike Lindell. Let me see if I can find this one, because this one was, if I can't find it, I will. People leave me a lot of comments. I'll just I'll just tell you what it said, because I remember it. It was such a tell. But okay, here it is. This is, and I've been getting messages like this nonstop. Okay, this is somebody online that left me this message. Maybe you should drop that Mike Lindell product since old boy flipped on migration. Flipped on migration. We don't call it migration on the right. We call it illegal immigration, okay? Migration is what liberals call illegal immigration. Migration is when you move like from one state to another. Like, I live in Florida. I lived here almost my whole life. I'm originally from Columbus, Ohio. When my family moved from Columbus, Ohio to Florida, we migrated to Florida. You migrate within a country. You immigrate. It's not migration from other countries, okay? That's immigration. In this instance, it's illegal immigration. So these people, you know, they give themselves away. So the reason I share that is I have been getting boatloads of comments from people about Mike Lindell. We should drop Mike Lindell. Every single one of them has been a liberal. Many of them have been liberals trying to pass themselves off as conservatives, like this guy who screwed up and said migration. Migration. Or the guy that called the show yesterday, and you notice when he had his talking points, he thought that Mike Lindell had said something about Muslims. Remember that, the Trojan? And when I recognized his voice and pointed out that he was the Trump derangement syndrome sufferer that also has Brian Craig syndrome, you know, that he was the guy that confronted Tom Laporta at that restaurant in Boca last year, his whole tone changed, and then he hung up on himself. Remember that call yesterday? And the latest poll out of Minnesota has Mike Lindell 9 points ahead of the second person in the Republican primary for governor in Minnesota. Now, the chances of a Republican being elected governor in Minnesota are slim to none. But do you think that there's there's some type of connection between the only negatives I've heard about Lindell and since his comments are from liberals, are from Democrats, and in the latest poll, he's in first place by 9 points, well above the margin of error. You know, Minnesota is a liberal state, you know, and even the Republicans there, you know, they're like these Susan Collins Republicans, a lot of them. So for him to be 9 points ahead of the number 2 person is pretty significant. All right, 1 hour down, 2 to go. If you're on hold, hang in there. My name is Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show on the radio since 1977, celebrating 49 years on the radio. We'll be right back. All right, if you're on hold, stand by. I was leading up to do a My Pillow commercial, but I ran out of time, so I'll have to do it in the next hour. All right, I'll be right back.
Our world is filled with confusion, deception, and uncertainty. Where can you turn for the truth? Bible Prophecy and Truth is a Christ-centered ministry dedicated to proclaiming the gospel of the Lord Jesus Christ and shining the light of God's Word into a world darkened by deception. Discover powerful videos that explain what the Bible says about salvation and what you must do to be saved. Explore fascinating teachings on Bible prophecy, the rapture. There's also an in-depth creation versus evolution study that will strengthen your faith and deepen your understanding of Scripture. And that's just the beginning. Whether you're a lifelong believer, a new Christian, or simply searching for answers, Bible Prophecy and Truth offers biblical teaching rooted in God's truth. Visit videos.prophecyandtruth.com. That's videos.prophecyandtruth.com and discover the truth, strengthen your faith, and grow closer to Jesus Christ. Videos.prophecyandtruth.com. Are you looking for a smarter way to care for your skin and your hair? You can do just that with Valaya AI. Valaya AI is your personal AI wellness coach. With just a quick scan from your phone, Valaya AI analyzes your skin and hair in seconds, providing personalized recommendations for acne, hydration, wrinkles, pigmentation, dryness, hair health. And that's just the beginning. Using advanced artificial intelligence, Valaya AI creates customized morning and evening routines, recommends products tailored to your needs, and even adjusts your care based on the weather, the index, and seasonal conditions. What are you waiting for? Download Valaya AI right now in the Apple App Store and Google Play Store and discover a smarter, more personalized approach to skin and hair care. Learn more and see how Valaya works online at mindhatch.ca. That's mindhatch.ca. Valaya AI, healthy skin and hair, powered by artificial intelligence. What if the past you've been running from is the only thing that can save the people you love? Author Anna Alina Bolstad brings the Old West to life in a story of redemption, sacrifice, and family. The Death of Laura Black, available on Amazon. Laura Black was once an outlaw, living a dangerous life filled with crime and violence, but she's left that world behind. Now she wanders the wilderness alone, carrying the scars of her past and the secrets she's tried to bury. Everything changes when she discovers the only family she's ever known is in desperate need of help, and she's the only one who can save them. Will Laura face ghosts of her past, or will the life she's escaped finally catch up with her? Find out in this unforgettable Western adventure filled with action, heart, and strong characters. The Death of Laura Black, from author Anna Alina Bolstad. Available on Amazon in Kindle, paperback, and free with Kindle Unlimited. This book also makes a great addition to your book club. Order your copy right now.
All right, we'll be back in 1 minute from the radio break. If you're on hold, stand by. I'll go to the phones when we get back. The number is 888-465-2631, 465-2631. It's a toll-free call no matter where you're listening, and the number is pinned in the live chat. All right, I'm going to go to the phones when we get back. You're welcome to call in about anything I have brought up so far. Any of you men out there keep diaries? It's bizarre. Bizarre. Oh man, 25 seconds. Hang in there. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, good morning, Brian. This is Richie.
Oh, hey, Richie.
I don't know if you got, I sent you the message. I hope you have gotten it last night. I shouldn't have done it, but I did it anyway.
No, I have not checked my messages.
Okay, it was on the topic that we're talking about the attempted assassination of Melania and Barrett.
Correct. It was. By the way, this was a major plot. For those that are just tuning in, I'll get into more details. I'll recap it later. But the Iranians released an instructional manual calling on Muslims in the United States to assassinate Melania and Barron, and they gave a lot of details on how to do it, which is so sick and twisted. It's frightening to me.
Yeah, it was a video with American, closed caption.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But I don't want to give. Don't say the title of the video because it's not appropriate.
No, I'm not. I want to talk about Doc because I'm going to agree with Doc 100%, and I want you to give me an opportunity here. Doc and the Democratic Party. Doc, you're 100% right. President Trump is an idiot because he poked the bear. Just like the gay people, the homosexuals in Germany, they poked the bear because they wanted to have a gay pride parade, so they poked the bear. Just like the Jew that came out of the synagogue in New York for praying to his God, he got stabbed in the chest with a screwdriver because he poked the bear. There are other situations here.
Well, for people that are tuning in that missed the first hour, okay, Doc called in. He's a liberal. He called it in the first hour, and he said all these assassination attempts by Iran are Trump's fault, not Iran's fault. And that's what Richie's saying.
He poked the bear.
Yes.
He poked the bear, just like when they took planes and they went into a 9/11, which is coming up with a jihadist mayor that wants to have the keynote address, which basically is going to say, Muslims are great people and they love the Jews, they love Christians. Doc, you walk out in the street in England and you get poked with a knife in the chest because you're not a Muslim, you haven't capitulated to their religion. Or Doc, they poked the bear. Doc, the women that walk the streets of London that are in skirts and blouses and they're not all covered up with a mask and all that garb they put on their head. They poked the bear. They're asking to be raped and stabbed.
Yeah.
Doc.
That's
poke the bear. Let's just everybody become a Muslim because if you don't become a Muslim, you're poking the bear.
Wouldn't that just solve everything if we all just became Muslim? That might solve everything, Richie. Yeah.
All Catholic, let the Pope, everybody's poking the bear now because, and the Democratic Party, they don't want to talk about any of this. It's Trump's war. Trump decided to do this. This is all about Trump. I keep telling everybody, you wouldn't have a job, you wouldn't have a breath, you wouldn't have grandchildren, you wouldn't have parents, because if the Iranians had their way and they had the nuclear bomb, what do you think they would have done with it? Use your brains, man.
This video that the Iranians put out shows how desperate they are. That they can't even do terrorism anymore. We've knocked them out so hard. They're calling on regular Muslims in America to rise up and do it for them. But President Trump should. I think that President Trump has called off temporarily the strikes because of the Lindsey Graham funeral. There was a report this morning. Netanyahu flew in for the Lindsey Graham funeral, which starts. The funeral's tomorrow. He lies in state today. But there was a report today that Netanyahu was personally delivering intelligence on that Pickaxe Mountain, whatever it's called. I think he held off for a few nights while the Lindsey Graham funeral is going on because he's meeting with Netanyahu and some other leaders to regroup in person what the next phase is going to be.
Can you imagine? Can you imagine the security that President Trump and Netanyahu are going to have to go even into? I mean, around them because
to the Capitol.
They can't even go to work. I want people to think about this. If somebody a friend of yours, a close friend, passed away, and you weren't allowed to go to his funeral or couldn't go because of fear that some crazy
liberal,
fanatical religious zealot was going to come after you with a knife or and unalive you because you can't even say with liberals you can't even say. Unalive, that's the new thing.
Well, the thing with the Democrats, and Doc kind of said, they think that Trump deserves all these things and that he brought this on himself and the family. I mean, that's just how they process it, and they're pretty twisted about it. This plot against Melania and Barron. I mean, they're all sick and twisted, but this is the first assassination, and these are real. They are the one terrorist was arrested. He has a history of committing Islamic terror bombings. He had the plans to Ivanka's house in Miami when they arrested him in Turkey. He was on his way to the United States. So these are real plots that the Iranians have been doing that we have foiled.
Well, Doc's pea brain, and he has a pea brain. I mean, he's thinking, Brian, the first thing he says, how can they get close to Melania? And you have to tell him about the clothing. They also told people that the manholes in New York they could put explosives. They went into detail.
Well, I didn't want to give everything away from the how-to manual they put in the video, but what the Iranians did with this video, they're calling on Muslims to rise up and assassinate Melania and Barron, and they gave a detailed instruction manual on how a layman could do it. It was very detailed. It's really bad.
What do you think? It's going to stop with President Trump, and it's going to...
No, but there's certain things that I'm not going to talk about or allowed to be said.
No, I'm talking about it's going to trickle down to everybody with these crazy people.
Yeah.
If we don't become Muslim, and that's why Dr.
And on Friday's show, that lady called me up right in the beginning, upset that Melania hasn't been making appearances. Now we know why. And where is that lady? Is she going to call in and say, "Wow, I didn't realize"? You know what I mean?
She wasn't even at the correspondence dinner, which was, so now you know why she wasn't there. The lady is maybe become a prisoner and has to be extra cautious because these crazy people, because President Trump and every Christian and Jew poked the bear.
That's right.
That's it.
That's right. All right, Richie.
Don't walk out on the street anymore.
All right, take care. Yeah, and that lady called in. When she called on Friday, I didn't press her too hard. It was she was saying stupid things, but I was thinking she was a liberal at the time, and now I'm 100% sure. I mean, come on. Did you see what Homeland Security has done with the Haitians? The deportations of the Haitians on the temporary status that is now over is beginning, and they posted, Homeland Security posted, this was crazy, they posted on their X yesterday, this is the Department of Homeland Security. Mark Wayne Mullen's got a good sense of humor. Your free trial of America has ended. Your temporary protective status protections have expired. Enforcement will be carried out. You can wait for the Department of Homeland Security to deport you or leave now by visiting, and then they give the website address, and they say that you can still get the $2,000 to relocate out of the country and a one-way ticket, and then they have two buttons. Leave now. If you press the leave now button, this was really on their X. If you press the leave now button, they set you up with the ticket and the $2,000, and then the second button below that is wait for deportation. So I was watching one of the local news channels out of Miami this morning. I can't remember what local channel in Miami it was, but I think I know, but I don't want to say because it was such a ridiculous story. I don't want to get the channel wrong. But one of the local news stations in Miami, they went to Little Haiti and were interviewing people about the Haitians being on the run. My wife and I, tomorrow when I get off the air, we're going down to Miami. And we haven't driven down to Miami in a while, but I remember the last time we drove down to Miami, just after we got by the Golden Glades interchange, which, by the way, guys, that construction on the Golden Glades that's going to take 12 years to finish or however long, how's the traffic down there in the late morning hours? I'm going to find out tomorrow. The Golden Glades is the worst. Oh, my goodness. By the time they finish the construction, but I'm wondering if with all the deportations and the Haitian temporary protective status, is it easing up traffic on I-95 at the Golden Glades in Miami? I hope so. The last time my wife and I went down to Miami, we get just south of the Golden Glades. This lady cut us off. She didn't know what she was doing. And, and I knew she was an illegal that they gave a driver's license to, because she didn't know how to drive, and she's on I-95. And let me tell you something. If you're driving on I-95 in Miami, especially the Golden Glades and just south of the Golden Glades, really all the way from the Golden Glades to South Beach, which is basically all of I-95 in Dade County, you've really got to know what you're doing. You've got to be an experienced driver. And it gets so scary down there. So I'm really hoping that the temporary protective status expiration is keeping illegals off the road in Miami since I'm going down there tomorrow, because it can get very scary with all of these unqualified drivers on the road. But I like that Homeland Security, they're on it like nobody's business. All right, I want to take our first break of the 7 o'clock hour. If you're on hold, stand by. If you'd like to call in, the number is toll-free, 888-465-2631. I want to talk about Joe Thomas and annuities. One of our listeners that I did a recorded commercial with, he called me. It's a commercial that runs. He's a guy who retired many years ago. He retired like in the late 90s. And he's a retirement government worker with a great pension, but he's lived so long beyond his retirement, the pension isn't that great in 2026. And what's happening is people, because of medical advancements and the greatness of the American medical system, people are living longer than ever before. And a lot of people are in retirement as long as they were in the workforce. And people make all of these great plans, and they've got pensions or a retirement plan and all of these things. And it's great. But when you're retired 15 years, 20 years, 25 or 30 years, it's getting tough. And this one gentleman with his pension, he was really struggling because his pension that was great, around 2000, just wasn't cutting it in 2026. So he went over to Joe Thomas, met with him, and now he has another income stream coming in with his annuity to supplement his pension. And now he's living the life, right, without any worries, because that money from the annuity, just like his Social Security, just like his pension, deposits in his bank account on the same day each and every month. And, I was telling Joe, people always talk about how bad fixed incomes are. Fixed income's good if you've got enough of it coming in. And that annuity, which adds to your fixed income, it's awesome knowing. I've talked to people that are clients of Joe Thomas, and I always ask them the same question: what do you like best about annuities? No matter what their income level is, they all give me the same answer. And they tell me the day of the month. On this date, every month, the money deposits directly into my account. That monthly money, that's what they love the most. And that's right. And give Joe Thomas a call. The consultation's free. You can take advantage of the free consultation with Joe Thomas no matter where you are located. All right? So, yeah, that's right. If you're in the area and you want to have the meeting in person at his office in Jupiter, please do that. But no matter where you're located, you can take advantage of this no-charge consultation, and you can take advantage of the consultation over the phone, on a Zoom call, on a FaceTime call as well. Here's the number, 561-743-0999. 561-743-0999. That's 743-0999. You can also find his number on his website, jupiterjoe.com. We'll be right back. All right, guys, if you're on hold, stand by. Okay, we'll take a quick break, and oh man, I've got so much to cover. Where am I going to go next? I got to figure out where we're going next. Let me take a look here. All right, I'll be right back, guys.
Have you ever felt like you're just going through the motions? You work hard, but feel stuck, exhausted, or disconnected from the life you truly want? It's time to stop surviving and start living. And you can do just that with the book from author Jane Morales Moras. Stop dragging, start living, reclaim your purpose and power. Available on Amazon. This inspiring and practical guide will help you break free from self-doubt, rediscover your purpose, and build the confidence to create the life you've always dreamed of. With this must-read and life-changing book, you'll discover how to reconnect with your dreams, overcome negativity, build resilience, set healthy boundaries, and align your emotions with your goals so you can finally move forward with clarity and purpose. Whether you're a student, entrepreneur, professional, or simply someone ready for a fresh start, this empowering book provides real-world actionable strategies to help you stop living by other people's expectations and start becoming the person you're meant to be. Your purpose is waiting. Your best life is still ahead of you. Stop dragging. Start living. Reclaim your purpose and power. From author Jane Morales Moras. Is available right now on Amazon in Kindle, paperback, and hardcover. Start your transformation right now and order your copy of Stop Dragging. Start Living. Reclaim your purpose and power on Amazon. Life can leave us with a lot of questions. Why did this happen to me? Why do I keep repeating the same patterns? And where is God in all of it? If you've ever asked those questions, you need to tune into the Healing Philosophers Podcast with The Healing Philosopher on Spotify. Through honest conversations and real-life experiences, each episode explores topics like healing from past hurts, generational karma, letting go of what's holding you back, understanding narcissism, and discovering how God can use even life's hardest moments for a greater purpose. The Healing Philosophers Podcast is about finding hope, growing in your faith, and realizing that your story in every season of your life has meaning. Add the Healing Philosophers Podcast to your Spotify playlist, and make sure to share the podcast on all your social media, and invite your friends and family to listen in too. Your share could be exactly what someone else needs right now. The Healing Philosophers Podcast with the Healing Philosopher on Spotify. Healing starts with one conversation. Listen now on Spotify.
All right, we'll be back in, hold on. We'll be back in 20 seconds. All right, got a lot to cover here. If you're on hold, hang in there. Oh my goodness. Big news day. Lots happening, lots happening. All right, 15 seconds. All right, we are back. Okay, so the Democrat Socialists of America are panicking the Democrats. I love it. And this guy, Abdul, that they're running in Michigan, he's a real disaster. Here's CNN. They're talking about the Democrat Socialist Commies of America.
Tonight, as the Democratic Socialists pick up a string of victories across the country, a new party platform from the progressive group is becoming fodder for GOP attacks. 99 days from the midterms, Democrats are facing a reckoning. Disavow and disown the Democratic Socialists of America, or embrace policy positions like these endorsed by DSA's co-chair.
Okay, so we're going to put up on the screen a few of the things that are part of your platform, and I want to ask you, just give me sort of a true or false on these. Abolish the Senate.
True.
Okay, replace the presidency and Supreme Court as we now know them.
Yep.
Abolish ICE.
Absolutely.
Abolish borders and give amnesty to anyone currently in the U.S. illegally. As a long-term plan, yep. Defund the Pentagon.
Absolutely.
Abolish prisons, at least in large part.
Yeah, again, that as part of a long-term program, yeah.
Okay, so no prisons. Government or public ownership of most
Okay, so if you're abolishing the Senate, you're abolishing the presidency, you're abolishing the prison system, and all these other things. Are you not bringing about the downfall of the U.S. government? Is that not an insurrection against the U.S. government? Well, there's a little secret that just came out that I'm going to share with you in a moment about the Democrat Socialist of America that you probably have not heard. But let me take another call or two first. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Rick. How you doing, Brian?
All right. What's up, my man?
I tell you, this Doc guy has got me so furious. You know, I'm a disabled veteran.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I was over in Europe in the 80s, right? And when
Yep.
Gaddafi bombed the disco.
Oh, yeah, sure.
You know, we left these people alone for 47, almost 50 years. And that's why they did the bombing in the barracks in Beirut. That's why they killed a lot of our service members.
That's right.
Because we kept leaving these a-holes alone.
Mm-hmm.
And how stupid is he to say something like, how is he going to get to them? Well, how did they get to Lincoln? How did they get to Kennedy? How did they get to Ronald Reagan? How did they get to Donald Trump? What? Wake up, you stupid guy from Texas, man. He is pissing me off.
Well,
I can't believe he's got the audacity and the arrogance and the ignorance to keep up this ridiculous banter against this.
But you know what? I've been on the air for over 90 minutes. Not one single Democrat has called in to condemn the Iranian assassination plot against Melania and Barron. Not one. Not one. They say that's not about us. I don't agree with that. I've gotten several calls from people like you, ticked off at Doc, but I haven't heard anyone say Doc doesn't represent us. That's not us.
It's from Texas. I damn sure so. He certainly doesn't represent us, you know. But it's like, it's just really quick and I'll be done. It's okay. Let's leave them alone. But they have no problem with let's leave Ukraine alone.
That's right.
You know, it's all about giving them money and keep them going on. But, oh, my God, let's stop these people because they're attacking us for 50 years.
Exactly.
I'm sorry, Doc. You need to crawl under a rock and just shut the hell up from now on.
That's
I'm
right.
done with this guy.
Now, do you want to tell it?
That's all I got to say.
Well, now do you want to tell us how you really feel?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
All right, take care.
I'm just pissed off.
I don't blame you.
Ridiculous.
No, you
Have a
should be.
great day.
You should be. Yeah, it was difficult for him to control his language. Oh man. Okay, now it's true, but not one Democrat has called in and said what Doc said is not representative of us, because what he said is what most Democrats feel. Okay, now before the bottom of the hour break, though, I want to share this. So the Democrat Socialist of America, they're taking over the Democrats, and we're hearing about all these Democrat socialists, Mamdani, Ahmed, and all these lunatics. Listen to this. This is a Fox News report from yesterday. Okay, and they go in. So what Fox News uncovered, while there are some high-profile big mouth commies here, Mamdani, Ahmed, AOC, and some other lunatics like Bernie Sanders, okay, the Democrat Socialist of America really is an organization that's only about 5,000 strong. And they're obviously overrepresented in the Democrat Party, okay? And the reason they're making their move in the Democrat Party is because their numbers are too small to be their own party. So they're hijacking the Democrat Party because they don't even have enough people for a party. They don't have enough people. They want you to think about this. According to Fox News, there are more people in line at the men's room at a Trump MAGA rally than are in the entire Democrat Socialist of America. They just have a good PR machine for a handful of fringe lunatics that have managed to get elected to office. Pretty amazing, huh? All right. We're going to take our break for the bottom of the hour, and when we get back, I've got some other things that we're going to cover, all right? You're listening to Florida's longest-running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977. If you'd like to call in, the number is toll-free, 888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. It's a toll-free call no matter where you are listening. We'll be back right after this. All right, and it's time to check in with Attorney Barry Siegel from the Siegel Law Group. Attorney Barry Siegel, what do you have for us this morning?
Yeah, good morning, Brian. Well, we are on the verge of the last week of July, and then coming into August, and that's when a lot of the kids are going off to college. A lot of new college students, new freshmen, and you know what that means? That means they're either still 17, about to turn 18, or they just turned 18. And what that means is, for all of you parents who've been able to make the decisions for your minor children from the time they're born till now that they're 18, it's not, you don't get the opportunity to make decisions for them automatically. You need to create legal documents, or they need to sign legal documents allowing you to make decisions for them. They need a power of attorney, and they need the healthcare documents, so that if something happens while they're away at school and you need to be able to make a decision for them, you're still able to do so. So we do
especially at this time of the year, we do a lot of the college planning. It's really just the powers of attorney and the healthcare documents that people need. But for those just turning 18, when they're going away to college, it's a great time to get this done. So you don't ever have to worry about if anything happens, you're able to make decisions. You still have the authority. You don't have to worry about it at that point.
Yeah.
So that's our college planning program. And if you have children getting ready to go to college, you should be calling us to get their powers of attorney and their healthcare documents set up. And those will be behind you, and you know that you have the authority to handle any situation that comes up on their behalf, just as if you did before they turned 18.
Yeah, that's one of the most difficult times as a parent, is when you realize you don't have any rights anymore, right? And your kid's off, and you have no, and these things are very, very important. And I also want to highlight, because this is the last week of July, which means this is the final couple of days that Attorney Barry Siegel at the Siegel Law Group, you're offering $1,000 off when it comes to the trust planning. And this is the last week. This is a special that Attorney Barry Siegel is offering for America's 250th anniversary, which was July 4th, of course, but it's 250 times 4, $1,000 off. So give the Siegel Law Group a call. When you call and schedule your no-charge in-office consultation, make sure you mention the discount then. It's 855-FLA-3782, 855-FLA-3782, and online, SiegelLawGroup.com. All right, Attorney Barry Siegel, we'll talk later in the week.
All right, Brian, thank you.
All right, take care. Yeah, all right, so getting back to the primaries are coming up for big parts of the country, right? I was talking about Mike Lindell's primary. Mike Lindell's 9 points ahead of the second person in the Republican primary in Minnesota. Our primaries are coming up in Florida next month. And the court ruled that fish sticks can stay on the ballot. I'm fine with that. That's fine. I'm behind Byron Donalds, and him and the lieutenant governor and whoever that other guy is, they can battle it out. But Byron Donalds is going to win that. But this Michigan Senate primary is one I've been looking at a lot because we've got this very bad guy that he thinks he's the next Mamdani / Obama, Abdul El Sayed. Pretty crazy, and things are starting to fall apart. They just had a debate at the eve of the primary in Michigan, and local reporters are asking him real questions. It turns out that Abdul in Michigan owns property in Muslim countries, including the UAE. First off, he doesn't know what his highest valued asset is. Who out there does not know what their highest valued asset is, right? Give me a break. Even Donald Trump, who owns so much, believe me, he knows. Probably, is Mar-a-Lago the highest valued asset? I don't know, but here's Abdul. Okay, see, now, the reason this is important is for a couple of reasons, okay? Because a lot of people say, well, who cares? President Trump owns property in other countries. Why are they giving Abdul a hard time? Well, I'll tell you why. Abdul is one of these 5,000 democratic socialists who's talking about wealth inequality, and the rich have everything and the poor we need to take from the rich. And it turns out it's very easy to support a communist redistribution of wealth in the United States when all your wealth is overseas, like property in the UAE, in a Muslim country. So he wants to redistribute everyone's property, but his property is in foreign Muslim countries. Because you're Muslim and you own property in Muslim countries, and it concerns people that maybe you have some loyalties to some of these other countries. That's why, Abdul. If you want to know the answer to that, it's a good question.
And then put in their and all of their kids' names, and then sold. And we're out here being like, oh well. And I wonder why they're so focused on foreign properties for somebody with a name like mine. Do you think it might fit within a well-worn trade? I don't know.
A well-worn. See, you know, if you dare question him, he's calling the reporter a racist. Okay, he's calling the reporter a racist because they're calling him out on his BS. Here's a clip of Abdul in the debate last night, and I'm glad to see that the pressure's coming on to him right now.
In the process, though, I actually think that we could eliminate all the medical debt in this country, $225 billion. Just so you understand what that is. That is the amount of the GDP of more than half of U.S. states in this country. So on day one, I want to offer medical debt relief to everybody. I think we could get bipartisan support to do it, and I'd love to get that done. And then start working for Medicare for all. And then let's make sure that we can get money out of politics so the big pharmas and the big insurances of the world aren't in the way when it comes down to finally getting this done for all Americans.
Okay, so a couple things about this. You know how you could wipe out the medical debt? How about cutting off all the Democrat Medicaid fraud going on, right? The Somali pirates of Minneapolis with the Leering centers, the Democrats in California with the hospice cares without any patients, you know, all that stuff. Then we could eliminate all the debt. But you notice, this is the phrase that these communists use. They don't use socialized health care.
Of the GDP, more than half of U.S. states in this country. So on day one, I want to offer medical debt relief to everybody. I think we could get bipartisan support to do it, and I'd love to get that done. And then start working for Medicare for all.
Medicare for all. Okay, that's their code word for socialized health care. And, you know, in President Trump's second term, I learned something about socialized health care in other countries. You know, they always point, whenever but notice how they change the names of everything because, you know, Obamacare, socialized health care, all that stuff, it's not popular. So they changed the name, Medicare for all, Medicare for all, you know. And I'm uninsured, but in 10 years, I will have health insurance. It'll be Medicare when I qualify for Medicare at the age of 65. Can't believe I'm going to be 65 in 10 years. Oh, my goodness. I know. Hey, it happens to all of us. But I learned from President Trump why socialized health care works in Canada and in England and these European nations. Do you know why it works? Why does socialized health care work in Canada, England, and the other nations of Europe? You know why? Two things. One, they don't pay for their own national defense. We pay for it. They don't pay their NATO dues. We pay them. This goes for Canada, by the way. And the tariff imbalances. And what we learned from President Trump is that here in the United States, we are paying for the national socialized health care of Canada, England, and all of Europe through the tariffs and them not paying NATO dues, and they don't have standing armies or navies or air forces anymore. They got enough people for a parade. That's about it. And that's why it works. And that's why it wouldn't work here, because no one's paying for our defense. No one's paying our NATO dues. We're paying for ours and everybody else's. But I've noticed in the last day that Abdul here in Michigan, that things have been getting, he's been getting pushed quite a bit. This is the last clip I have of Abdul. This is Abdul in Michigan, and this is in the debate. This is the Democrat debate that they just had the other day, and he's talking about abolishing ICE.
I'm just saying that I do the thing that I say I'm going to do. I don't think ICE needs to exist. For the better part of our country's history, we did not have an ICE, and I think we can do a much better job.
When he says our country, which country is he talking about? I don't know.
When it comes to immigration without one. And here's the last thing I just want to say about this. When it comes to the question of immigration, we need Democrats who are going to stand up and actually talk about the great good that immigration has done for our country in the first place. The idea that somehow we can't say abolish ICE because we're so afraid of what they're going to say when we've seen ICE terrorize people our streets, to me, is exactly the kind of cowardice that we don't need from Democrats. So yeah, I'm going to take the bullhorn, and I'm going to say that I think we need to abolish ICE because I am not afraid of what they're going to say about me.
Okay, ICE is a new name for the Border Patrol. They changed their name a few years ago to ICE. We had regular Border Patrol everywhere. So they've been around for a long time. But I mean, if he was American, he would know. But what we have now that we didn't have in the future was a land invasion of tens of millions of illegals into our country. And that's why we need them to do what it is that they are doing. And I'll tell you, if you have an air conditioning system that is blowing hot air, if your AC is running all day and never shuts off, if you have rooms in your house that no matter what you set your AC unit to, they're still hot all day, you need to call Sloman's Central Air Conditioning and get yourself a new AC unit. And Sloman's Central Air Conditioning can do that at a price that is so affordable with all kinds of bonuses. Listen to this. Sloman's Central Air Conditioning is offering a high-efficiency 5-ton 18-SEER system that uses R454B refrigerant for just $59.99. And that's something, just $59.99, with zero down, zero payments, and zero interest for 18 months. It comes with a 5-year bumper-to-bumper service plan, which includes annual system maintenance, filter replacement, and refrigerant. And you'll also receive the Sloman's Shield home security system installed with 5 years of professional central station monitoring included with your AC package. This is an incredible deal. Call Sloman Central Air Conditioning right now, 561-217-COOL. That's COOL. 561-217-COOL. 561-217-COOL. All right. We'll take our break, last break of the second hour. It's the Steve Kane Show. My name is Brian Craig. We'll be right back. Okay, hang in there, guys. Okay, we'll be back shortly, guys. I'm just getting ready for the next segment. Hold on. Hang in there. Okay. Hold on. Okay. 1 minute, and we'll be back, guys. So stand by. I'm just queuing up a couple things here, going through my stack of stuff. There's a couple of stories that I'd forgotten about that are very important. We'll be back in about 40 seconds or so. Yep. If you're on hold, stand by. 30 seconds. 10 seconds, guys. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. You're listening to Florida's longest-running radio show, the Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977, celebrating 49 years on the radio. You know, I was reading in the local news yesterday, something happened here in Palm Beach County I was not aware of. You know, ICE just completed a 4 or 5 day massive deportation operation in Palm Beach County. I didn't know about it till after it was over, and that's a good thing. And I was reading an article about it yesterday. It was a pretty big operation, and they arrested and deported a lot of people, including the owner of a bakery. This was in Palm Beach, and you know the Democrats, they view illegal immigration as a new form of slavery, right? People to take care of their kids and clean their toilets. You hear them talk about this a lot. And the left, with their illegal deportations or their illegal immigrants, they're always talking about how they take jobs that Americans do not want to do. Well, then, you know, and then we see who's here, and we find out time and time again that's not the case. As an example, this bakery owner, think about it. This guy is in the country illegally, and he owns a bakery, right? What are the chances that his staff are illegal too? Huh? I mean, how does a guy who's illegal, and he's competing with other bakeries that have legal workers where they've got to pay taxes and employee taxes and payroll taxes and all these things. And one of the biggest expenses of any small business is the cost of the employees through benefits, taxes, and their wages. And this guy gets to undercut all the competition right out the gate. This story that the illegals are just taking jobs that Americans don't want to do is a bunch of nonsense. Now, I was talking earlier about the mass deportation of the Haitians that's taking place in this country because of the temporary protective status being lifted, and the Supreme Court has upheld that. And well, listen to this. This is a direct result of the temporary protective status of the Haitians going into effect. Elder care companies, this is in Breitbart, elder care companies are hiring Americans at higher wages because President Trump ended Biden's amnesty-like temporary protective status to 350,000 Haitians. Elder care providers are taking steps to lessen the efforts, including increasing wages and benefits packages to attract more workers, as well as training workers from other fields so they can join the senior living workforce. This was in the July 26th trade news site, McKnight Senior Living. So the 350,000 Haitians, a bunch of them, were taking jobs from home healthcare workers, all right? And of course, they work for less money than American home healthcare workers. You know, being a home healthcare worker is a good job. People have had long careers doing that. And the Haitians have been working for, well, I guess, slave wages, much below what Americans you'd have to pay Americans. And you have to figure out new ways, because the answer is you just close down, said the CEO of Goodwin Living. He employs around 1,500 people, including many migrants from 65 countries. So he's got a bunch of these Haitians working. Now he's got to hire Americans. You have to figure out new ways. Speaking to local reporters shortly after receiving 111 deportees, the director of Haiti's National Office of Migration said the U.S. will be sending 2 flights per week back to Haiti, and it goes on and on. But you see right here, good paying jobs in the home healthcare industry are now opening up for Americans at decent wages. You know, so this idea that these illegals and these temporary protective status people are doing jobs that Americans don't want to do, that's just not the case. And we're finding time and time again that not only are they doing jobs that Americans want to do, that now that the positions are opening up, the employers are paying more money because they have to hire Americans. It's really amazing. You know, there's so many people out there, and it's really sad because you look at the pressure that Otto Penn Biden's administration put on this country, on the job market and the rental market. They drove rent up, they took jobs and drove wages down, and in Trump's second term, every deportation of an illegal is a job created. Every temporary protective status person deported is another job created. And that's what we're seeing here. And it's absolutely amazing. And he never gets the credit for that. And you got to wonder how many people have just stopped looking for work because they couldn't find it. That's so true. So those of you that are in the home healthcare business, you know, and you're a home healthcare person and you have whatever certifications or anything you need for that, and maybe you've been pushed out because wages have been low or they've been hiring the temporary protective status Haitians. There are jobs opening up nationwide in the home healthcare industry. So contact your local people where you get such jobs. Do any of you guys, I wonder if Steve remembers this guy. Do you guys remember that very strange guy, Ron, that used to go to all our appearances? He was a real pest. He used to show up at the radio studio, even though we told him never to come by. He'd show up all the time. And he used to come to personal appearances dressed like Curtis Sliwa. He had the Guardian Angels outfit. And he got a job at a home health care agency. Anybody remember this? Oh my goodness. This was he got a job at a home health care agency taking care of a man. And you know, home health care, one of the things you have to do oftentimes is bathe the patient or the client or whatever you call them. And apparently when he got the job, because he was a listener of the program, he used Steve and he used me as a reference to get the job. It was pretty crazy. And they had to let him go, and they called us when they let him go, and they called on the air. Yeah, Crazy Ron. He was a strange cat, and they called us on the air, and what he did was, this just tells you how weird this guy was. He had a client that he had to bathe the guy. So when he bathed the guy, he put on, he dressed like the Gordon Fisherman. He put on a yellow, full-length yellow raincoat and the Gordon Fisherman's yellow rain hat while he was bathing this guy. And he was an elderly gentleman who was in his 80s or 90s, and his family complained, and they had to fire the guy. And they called us because he had used us as a reference. And we said, we don't know this guy. And then, oh my goodness, he was a weird guy, Ron, I must say. I haven't heard from him in many years, so I just assumed he's moved on to a better place. But but President Trump has just opened up thousands upon thousands of good-paying jobs in the home healthcare industry, and he gets no credit for this. Look at all the trucking jobs he's opened up, right? I'm hearing the trucking schools are opening up now for new students for the first time in a long time. There are so many jobs created just by the deportations. I was watching a guy online. Let me see what time is. What time? What time is it exactly? Okay, I just got a minute here. But I was watching a guy on X this morning. He's a construction worker in Orlando, and he runs heavy equipment. And he was complaining about how his wages are so low. Well, the reason is his wages are low is because he's in a former sanctuary city, the Orlando area. And even though there's been mass deportations, there's still a lot of illegals on these construction sites. And if he wants to get his wages up as a heavy equipment operator in construction sites, he needs to start calling ICE and telling them about all the illegals on his job site. And this guy was, of course, blaming Trump for his low wages on the construction site, but in fact, it's the liberals with the illegals. Now, I want to ask you this. I want to talk about life imaging. Has anyone in your family had cancer or heart disease? Well, what does that mean for you and your health? You know, I was talking yesterday that my parents are healthy, but my mother, who was adopted, she tracked down her birth mother and found out that she had many other siblings with her birth mother. They all died of heart attacks. And my mother's family has a long history of very severe heart disease. And that was one of the things I had in the back of my mind when I went over to Life Imaging for my heart scan. Give Life Imaging a call for your free heart scan now with a few minimum requirements valued at $699. From your cell, call pound 250 and say free heart scan. You'll be connected in seconds. That's pound 250. Just say free heart scan. You'll be connected in seconds. They have locations in Broward, Palm Beach, Dade, and Orlando. And when you're there, make sure you ask about their full body cancer screening and their full body virtual colonography. And say goodbye to sedation. 2 hours down, 1 to go. Back right after this. All right, guys. Are you there? Be back. Hang in there. But no, I want to. It's something I talked about earlier, but I'll recap it. But I'll tell you on the air. Okay. Okay. 30 seconds.
Nope.
Oh,
You're dead. Oh, no, you're not. Okay.
all right. We're back. It's the Steve Kane Show. The 8 o'clock hour has begun. I'm Brian. Steve, you with us?
I'm always ready
Okay.
to go.
All right. Okay. The 8 o'clock hour has begun. I've covered quite a bit today. You're welcome to call in about anything I brought up so far, but I want to recap what I began with. There has been an Iranian assassination plot against the First Lady, Melania Trump, and Barron Trump. It was just revealed and broken by the New York Post. It's been covered in many other places, and this is one of the worst. And I'm going to tell you about it in a moment, and I'll give you the details of this plot, which still could be in play, Steve. This is it very well could still be in play, but this is just in the last couple of weeks. Iran has had assassination plots against Melania Trump, the First Lady of the United States, the president's son, Barron Trump. 2 weeks ago, the Iranians had now think about this now. 2 weeks ago, the Iranians had another plot against President Trump. Remember, to shoot down Air Force One in Turkey, Steve? Remember that? He had to change planes?
Yes.
About 3 weeks ago, the Iranians had a plot against Ivanka Trump. They caught a terrorist, an Islamic terrorist was arrested in Turkey who's made a career out of blowing things up in the name of Islam. And he was captured in Turkey trying to get passage to Miami, and he had the plans to Ivanka's Miami home. He was going to blow up Ivanka's home with her in it, with her children, and her husband, Jared Kushner. And by the way, that's not including the assassination plot in the last couple of weeks against Don Jr., because that was just a liberal Trump derangement syndrome sufferer. But we've had, in the last 3 weeks, we've had, let me count, from the Iranians alone, all right? Just let me keep track. And those of you on hold, stand by. There's been an Iranian assassination plot against Melania, Barron, the president, Ivanka. How many kids does Ivanka have? 3, right? Plus Jared Kushner. So we have at least 8 Trump family members that the Iranians have been trying to kill in just the last month, okay? I don't know what it's going to take, Steve, for these Democrats out there to change their tune on Iran.
Why would the Democrats care?
Steve, we got 8 or 9 Trump family members targeted by Iran in the last month.
Bothers the left?
Well, I know it doesn't, because the first call I took today was from a liberal blaming Trump for it. And I've gotten a lot of calls on this today, not one liberal condemning it. Now, the plot on Melania and Barron, this is a bad one. The Iranians they didn't send someone over here. They put out a video. This is detailed in the New York Post, guys. So this may be in your New York Post you have this morning, Steve. But
in my lap.
Okay, I don't know if it's in your edition or not, but the New York Post detail, and this is being reported in many other places, but the New York Post detailed it. The Iranians put together what could only be described as an instructional video. It's in their language, but it's subtitled in English. And it's calling on Muslims in America to do it, and it gives out instructions, including locations where the First Lady regularly shops in New York and elsewhere. And I'm not going to get into any more details than that, but it is this could still be in play, because this is one that's just out there calling on Muslims in America to rise up and do it. And if you guys remember on Friday's show, Open MAGA Mike Friday, one of the first calls I took was from a woman who called in, and she was very upset at Melania because she hasn't seen her at appearances lately. And she didn't go to the correspondence dinner the other night. Now we know. And to my knowledge, this is the first assassination plot against a First Lady, and these other ones are the first assassination plots in history of a sitting president's children, grandchildren, and a son-in-law. So, this is one of those opportunities, Steve, where liberals can call in and say, hey, we don't like Trump, we don't agree with this war, but Iran's gone too far. This is a time where Democrats can call in and actually gain some credibility. I've yet to.
Every day is a day the Democrats have a possibility of returning credibility, and they would take the opportunity.
Well, this one's a bad one, and and as far as I'm concerned, President Trump should just neutralize Iran. I mean, if this isn't an act of war, I don't know what is, right? Okay, so that's a lead story. All right, you want to take some calls?
Sure.
Okay, the number to call in is 888-465-2631. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? All right, once, twice. All right, you missed your chance. All right, we'll try another one. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Me again, Brian. Ronan Lee, bro.
I have no idea who you are. Okay. Can you speak up a little bit? Can you?
How's it going?
It's going. What's on your mind?
Okay. So, we can talk about anything, right?
No, but let's see what you got.
I just want to kind of throw some. I want to throw something out there. I think one thing. Let's start with something we agree on. I think we both agree that communism is bad. Can we agree on that?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Okay. So
remember, it's only a 2-hour show, 3-hour show.
Yeah, and there's only 51 minutes left.
I'll get to the point.
Cut
Why
to the chase, exactly.
Why are we trying to be purists to one form of government instead of just taking the best out of all of them?
Because we have the best system of everything. America's number one in everything because of our system. And we don't need a bunch of third worlders from Haiti or Uganda or Somalia telling us how to run the largest economy and the freest economy in the world based on their standards.
Yes. An interesting point you raised.
We're bankrupt.
But not interesting enough to stay with this call.
Well, we're not bankrupt. You're bankrupt, morally bankrupt, that's for sure. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness.
Gee whiz. What's with this group?
Of what? Our listeners?
Well, the callers so far this morning, I guess, coming up, they're probably hungover, I guess.
From what? What would they be hungover from?
The weekend.
Well, it's Tuesday. They still hung. They must have been really drinking.
Depends how much you've been drinking.
I guess so. So today begins the. Hold on a second while I answer these lines coming in. Today begins the couple of day funeral and memorials for Lindsey Graham, and he's lying in state today. Tomorrow is going to be I don't know if it's officially a state funeral. Is it a state funeral when a sitting senator died? I don't know. But the president's going to be eulogizing Lindsey Graham, and Lindsey Graham's sister, who's now the senator, yesterday said her main focus is passing the Save America Act. So Thune's in some real trouble. James Woods gave an interview yesterday. James Woods, the actor, Steve?
Absolutely.
I love James Woods. He's like one of the greatest American actors ever.
Excellent actor.
But he had a question for John Thune yesterday. Who is paying you? Right? Who is paying you? Over 80% of Republicans support the passage of the Save America Act. Over 70% of Democrats support passing it. So who's Thune working for? But we may find that Lindsey Graham's sister is going to become the most powerful senator in the country because she's got all the skills of her big brother, but she's just one of those people that commands the room, no matter what room she's in.
It's going to take something because I got to tell you, what's going on has been a disgrace.
Thune's a disgrace.
I've never seen anything like this.
Mm-hmm. All right, let's go back to our phones. Let's see if we can raise the quality from the last caller, but that's not saying a lot.
It shouldn't be hard.
No, not at all. Not at all. Let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? Once, twice. No, I think this is a higher quality call than the last one, Steve. I'm not kidding either. I'm serious. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, it's Renee from Hollywood.
Oh, hey, Renee.
I wanted to remind your racists that it was the United States of KKK USA that took out Mossadegh in the first place and put in the Shah. So if the Iranians are resentful of American interference, they've got a reason to be. You guys are a bunch of imperialist racists, and they hate guts, and they have a reason to.
Who hates who?
Renee, you haven't figured out yet that flag don't fly anymore. Nobody cares about your race card crap.
You idiot.
Does that feel better now?
You're an idiot.
Oh, brilliant comeback.
Okay, yes. Okay, well, anything else? Anything else before I say, get off the phone, stupid? Jesus, what an idiot. You sure get some people out there. That's
Renee, you're still there? I think.
Have a nice day. He shouldn't be. I mean, do I have to say, get off the phone, you jerk?
You can do, because you can't talk to me.
Yeah, well, and we don't want to. Oh, my goodness. When you told...
got nothing to say, NTS, nothing to say, goodbye.
You know what happened to him, Steve? When you told him that the race card doesn't work anymore, that was just like a shock to his system. He didn't know what to do with that. He couldn't deal with that. That's a really... He's a sad guy. And I'm starting to think that he's not in Harlem. I think he might be... I was talking about this yesterday, Steve. I don't think he's in Harlem, unless Bellevue was located in Harlem. Where in New York is Bellevue, the mental...
By the way, I have a question to you. Do you know anything about... I've got a friend coming to town who's Muslim.
What?
They asked me if I would scout for the weekends, I guess it's the weekends, to find out, I wanted to attend a Muslim service.
You're kidding me. You're kidding me, right?
And why would that surprise you? We used to talk to Waleed Ferris from the Islamic
Council.
Defamation League.
You have a Muslim friend?
Yes.
How do you, what's your relationship to this Muslim?
Well, I want to keep that off the record.
Really?
But what do you know about Islamic?
I know that that's not usually a place where Jews. I would recommend Jews not going there.
Well, are Jews welcome?
Are you asking me if Muslims are tolerant?
I'm asking, yes.
I would say based on what I know is that the Muslims are threatening the life of the First Lady and the First Family, and
do you ever remember getting a call from a Muslim on the air?
We have one Muslim guy who calls us on occasion, Taj.
You figure there are any out there that other than Taj?
I know that I would not go to a mosque. I would not enter a mosque.
Well,
I'm surprised. Why would you want to do that? Are you serious?
To learn.
What
to
do you?
learn.
What, you have nothing.
My sister's in town. We discussed a lot of things. We were talking about Islam versus Christianity.
There's no verses. There's only one. It's Christianity, Steve. Jesus.
Well, whatever. We were talking about it, and last weekend I went to the Calvary service. And
well, that's good. Well, that's good. That's a Christian church. That's
but
good.
But to me, there's no bad because I want to learn.
There's nothing to learn. There's nothing to learn, Steve, at the mosque.
Well, can you answer the question? For example, because can't remember a call from an Islamic person, it doesn't mean that we don't have Islamic listeners. You don't think we have? I
don't know. Are you really going to go to a? You're really going to go to a mosque?
Absolutely. Why wouldn't I?
Okay.
Wait, you saying you don't think it's safe?
I wouldn't. No, I don't think it's safe at all for a Jew to be going to a mosque. And no, I don't.
Well, let me make a statement and see if you agree or disagree. I don't know, which is one of the reasons I want to find out. But what I envision is the fact that they would welcome non-Islamic people.
Yeah, you're gonna wear your MAGA hat, your "Make America Great Again" hat when you have to take it off inside the church.
No, I mean that's funny, but we're talking about a serious issue, and I would bet they would have
I would be shocked. I would be shocked if we.
They would welcome the opportunity to have a chance to discuss their religion with the
I
non-believers?
don't think we have Muslims in our audience, except maybe Taj, who calls like once a year.
No Muslim. Wow.
No, really? Are you not thinking about becoming Muslim? Are you?
No. I'm just thinking about learning.
There's nothing you can learn from them. There's nothing to learn there, Steve. Nothing. Nope. There's nothing to learn there.
My guess, and it's only a guess, but my guess would be that they, like Christians,
No.
that they come in all degrees of
No.
orthodoxy. That
Nope.
some are more religious than others.
Nope.
That
Nope, they don't. They're
all
like
the same.
they're about assimilation of us into their way of life. Yeah, they're
I
not
understand-
into
I
that.
understand,
Muslims
but
are not into divert. Listen, Steve, we got a break. We're
you're
late
saying
for a
that's
break.
Everybody, you're saying that
The
entire
Muslim,
Muslim pop?
the entire Muslim population is they're not about diversity of religion. No.
And they don't welcome non-believers in. They're not interested in converting anybody.
Oh yeah, they want everybody to convert to Islam.
Well, that's the
Steve,
horse of a
we're
different
late
color.
for the break. I'm going to put you on hold, and then we'll take some more calls. All right. So let me put you on hold, and I don't even know what to say to Steve. You guys, I don't know. I don't know if Steve's serious or pulling my leg. I really don't. But I do know this: that if you're in pain, you want to go see Dr. Appleton. You know, Dr. Appleton and his robotic laser away pain treatment has changed my life. It's given me my life. You know, all these pains that I've had and suffering I've had over the years, I still would have had. The only difference is I'd still be in pain. You know, the first pain he rid me of in my knee, I suffered for that for close to 30 years. And he treated me and boom, the pain's gone, hasn't returned. My shoulder injuries from my skateboard accidents, my arthritis in my hand, he rid me of all of these pains. None of the pains have returned. Isn't that something? And the first time that Dr. Appleton rid me of pain, I don't know, did we hit the 4 or 5 year mark? Because Dr. Appleton's been with us for either 4 or 5 years. I'll have to check. But none of the pains he's rid me of, none of them have returned. And what I would be like if I had never met Dr. Appleton, well, I would be suffering a lot. I'd be in pain, or I'd be on drugs to mask the symptoms of the pain. Give Dr. Appleton a call and say bye-bye to your pain too. The consultation is free and appointments are not necessary. Walk-ins are always welcome, even on Saturdays. 954-973-0710. 954-973-0710. 954-973-0710. And online, AppletonCairo.com. We'll be right back. Okay, now if you're on hold, stand by. What do you guys think? Is Steve serious or pulling my leg? What do you guys think? Is he serious or not? What do you guys think? Hang in there. Less than 90 seconds. Just over a minute, actually. We'll be back. Oh, boy, oh, boy. All right, 40 seconds.
Let me see something when we get back.
Okay, hold on, 30 seconds. All right, we're back. Callers on hold, stand by. You back with us, Steve?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
I'd like to spend the next half hour talking, taking calls from people of the Islamic faith and see if my intuitions are wrong. I mean, I believe that it's like every group. There are bad apples in every group, and there are nice people. It's a mix.
You know, I want to tell you straight up. I don't know if you're serious or pulling my leg.
I'm serious as a heart attack.
If you really have, and I'll just, for people that are kind of new to the show, let me give a little background on Steve. Okay, Steve's a Jew, and a number of years ago, you became a Christian, right? And it was you went hard.
No, you're oversimplifying it.
Well, we only here till 9, but okay, go ahead.
Well, no, I'm saying, you know what a Jewish believer is?
Yeah, a Christian.
Well, there are different viewpoints, you understand?
No, there's not. You're a Christian or not. There's not different viewpoints.
I'm going to mention a blast from the past, Schiffer Hoffman. You remember Schiffer Hoffman?
Schiffer Hoffman was not a Christian. She was not a. She was Jewish.
She was an Orthodox Jew. You're right.
Yeah. No, there's only one, and you're Christian. You either accept Jesus or you don't.
What about Jesus?
Jesus was a Jew.
Jew.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And he believed it himself. He believed he was the Messiah, as were the disciples.
I'd like to, since our time is limited, I'd like to hear input from the audience to see if I can get a handle.
Okay, now hold on. Let me one second. Hold on a second here. And I'm just concerned for you. I really am. I'm serious as a heart attack. I'm going to go to the phones. I'm serious as a heart attack. If you have a Muslim friend or family member, you want to take them to church and expose them to Jesus, Steve.
Well, I mean, I did that this weekend.
And did it work? Apparently not. They're taking you to the mosque. Oh my goodness.
Inquiring minds want to know.
All right. Let's go to the phones. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Julius. I'm from New Jersey.
Hey.
Hey, Julius.
Yeah.
He hung up. I don't know why. He called us and he hung up. All right. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, Brian. It's Cece from Texas.
Hey, Texas.
Hi. So I may be completely off here, so correct me if I'm wrong. I was listening to the beginning of the broadcast and wanted to heard the discussion between you and Doc from Texas.
Oh no, Doc who called in Doc is the liberal who called in blaming Trump for the Iranian assassination plots. Yes.
Anyway, welcome. I apologize for interrupting you. Go ahead.
Yeah. I heard well, first of all, the plot attempt, that the nerve gas, that whole thing, that is stupid is the first word that comes to mind. It's how anyone can come in and pick up that dress or whatever. So I think they would be, then someone else could, if it's really.
Well, listen, regardless, the Iranians, it just was reported, the Iranians put out this video calling on Muslims in America to rise up and commit this plot against the First Lady and Barron, okay? And if you notice, we haven't seen much of Melania lately. So Melania believes that these are credible threats.
I thought she was scheduled or was recently at the UN on something to do
She's
with
done
the,
very few
party
appearances. She wasn't at the correspondence dinner. She's been making very, very few, very limited appearances. And it's obviously a direct result of this Iranian plot against her and Barron.
That may be, but if that's the best they can do, that's the first comment I want to make. That's ridiculous. I mean,
Well, it's easy for you to say. You're not the one that they're calling on Muslims. That Steve's going to, go to this mosque, but they're calling on Muslims to do this in America, the Iranians, and they released a video in English subtitles that was an instructional manual. So it may be ridiculous to you, but you're not the one that you're not the one who's under threat.
No. Okay, wait. I don't have to be absurd. I totally understand, Okay, hang on. Let me get my thoughts together. So it's very similar. Yes, when you're throwing things out there, you stir up the crazies, and they may not do exactly what you're saying, but they will do something. Knife stabbing, just like what's happening.
All right, we don't need to go. We don't need to add to the instructional manual. Hey, listen, I appreciate the call. I mean, what the hell? What is going on the show today, Steve, between you and our call? I mean, I feel like, did I have a head injury? Did I fall during one of the breaks and hit my head on the desk or something? Because I feel like I'm in another world right now. I don't even...
Well, you are.
I really do. Between what you broke and these couple of callers...
Well, that's not the difference between us.
Am I in a coma? Is this like a Twilight Zone episode?
The thing we're differing on, as I see it, is the idea of all people being alike.
That's
I think,
okay.
I don't know. I think there are peaceful Muslims. And
Listen, Steve. Listen.
Not
Not all Americans are in the Army, Navy, Air Force, Space Force, or Marines, but we support the troops, right? We support them. So not all Muslims are terrorists. I get it. Not all Muslims are in the Iranian Revolutionary Guard, but it doesn't mean. But it doesn't mean that they don't support their troops.
Some do and some don't. Is that a shock to you?
I'm without words, Steve. Let me take another call and find out if I'm really, because I may be, I'm serious.
Well,
I may be in a coma imagining this because this conversation can't be real.
Out there in the audience. Let's hear how they vote.
Mm-hmm. All right. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, IB and Broward.
Hey, IB.
Hi, IB.
Hey, old Steve, old boy, old chum. Hey, what is the guy running the Mother Muslim? What is his name again?
I can't hear you. IB, you call a lot, and please don't take this personally, but your phone sucks. And every one of your calls, your phone sucks, and I can hardly understand you. And if you want to call, so get a better phone or get off the Bluetooth.
Go ahead.
His phone just disconnected. See, I told you, his phone's no good. It keeps cutting in and out. Steve, I'm going to take our break for the bottom. I took that last break late because you shocked me so much with your strange announcement. So I'm going to put you and everyone on hold. We'll take our break for the bottom and be right back. Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show.
Am I back too?
We're all back, Steve. I want to take a moment to talk about Jupiter Joe Thomas and annuities. Okay, now there's a commercial you may hear running sometimes. It's from one of our listeners. And he retired as a police officer, and he had a great pension. The pension was great back in like 98, 99 when he retired. And he's outlived the expectation of the pension, as many people do. People are living longer because of modern healthcare and such. So, you know, what happens is it's 2026, and what was a great pension in 2000 just isn't enough to get by. Well, he called Jupiter Joe Thomas. He's in annuities now, and now he gave himself a second pension. And it's his annuity income that's deposited into his bank account each and every month at the same time. And now he doesn't have a worry in the world. Call Joe Thomas and schedule your no-charge consultation. 561-743-0999. 561-743-0999. And online, jupiterjoe.com. All right, you want to take some more of these calls?
Yes.
All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
That's Julius.
Didn't you just call? Okay, yeah, your phone went dead. All right, go ahead, Julius.
Can you hear me?
I can.
Hello?
Go. Proceed.
Yeah. Yeah, I was going to ask about what you said about how Jews are not safe in Muslim countries.
I would never go to a Muslim country. Nope.
Like Morocco.
Yeah, I'll never go to a Muslim country ever. I don't care.
Albania.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
And is this based on your feelings or actual statistics and facts?
It's based on things like planes crashing into buildings, stuff blowing up, Islamic terror threats against the first family. Yeah, they just arrested. In Turkey. They just arrested a guy in Turkey who was trying to get to Miami to blow up Ivanka's house in Miami.
Mm-hmm. Tell me something. Do you think? So let me ask you this. So the whole thing about Israel and Palestinians and Palestine, that's about religion. It has nothing to do with how the fact that Palestinians, Christians, and Muslims had their homes stolen.
No.
No.
It
doesn't really.
Well, let me answer the question. You asked a question. You want an answer. The problem you have involving the Mideast peace situation with Palestinians.
No. I'm asking specifically.
See, this is why I won't go to Muslim countries. Look at what happens to them. See,
I'm asking a specific question.
See, this.
All I'm here to do is see that everybody takes turns.
Well, this is.
I'm very interested in what you have to say. Just let me guide a little bit.
All right.
So that everybody can be heard.
Well, let me tell you this in the audience.
Your turn.
Well, hold on. Let me finish my thought. This is one reason. This caller is a great example of why I'll never go to a Muslim country. He gets challenged, and then all of a sudden, please. Well, you're certainly sympathetic. You're certainly sympathetic.
I'm sympathetic with anyone who had their home stolen. Yes, after World War II, when it was declared that ethnic religious cleansing is a crime against humanity.
Okay, so where are you calling from? Where are you calling us from?
I'm calling from New Jersey, Dingaling.
You're on. You're talking about homes being stolen. New Jersey used to belong to the Indians. You're on stolen land.
Yes.
You're going to give it back?
It was stolen.
You're going to give it back?
I say, you know what? I'm all for the entire country being given back.
Oh, okay. That's good. That's good. This is what. Have fun at the mosque, Steve.
No. Yeah. Now, with that said, in the post-World War II reality, who stole whose homes?
The problem with that you're referring to.
No, you're not answering the question. You're not answering the question.
You don't know what I'm answering because you won't shut up and listen. I said 2 words and you shut me up.
All right, gentlemen, be nice.
I'm not gonna be pushed around by some idiot from Jersey.
Well, okay, just take turns.
No, you are a moron, so don't try to call me an idiot.
Wait.
You lying sack.
I don't have to call you an idiot. You're saying it yourself.
You are a moron. Mm-hmm. You are a moron. And a liar.
Okay.
Who stole whose homes in 1948?
The problems you're describing, it's not the Palestinians or the Israelis. It's Iran backing terrorism. for the past 50 years.
Stop that. We're talking about how it began. Who stole whose homes?
No one that I know of.
Yes. The Zionists stole homes from Palestinians.
See, Steve?
And then
Steve, have fun at your mosque.
barred them from returning.
Here's the love of Islam on the line.
No. Don't try this crap with me, because the Palestinians included Christians who had their homes stolen.
You know, you're supposedly representing the Religious of Peace, New Jersey. You know that, right?
I'm not here to religion. I'm not appealing to any religion.
Yeah, sure.
There's also Palestinian
You're advocating
atheists.
for the Muslims.
So don't try this.
You're advocating for the Muslims.
No, I'm advocating for Palestinians. Palestinians.
They're Muslim.
include
Palestinians are Muslims.
Jews,
No.
Muslims,
Nope.
atheists,
Nope.
communists, Catholics.
Nope.
No. Who are you?
The
to
Palestinians,
lie?
the
Stop lying.
No, you are.
One at a time.
Israel funded Hamas. Let's be clear
No,
here.
Iran funded Hamas.
Yes, it did.
All right,
No, Israel funded
I'm going
Hamas.
to jump in here, Brian. Hang up on the guy.
Oh, thank you.
It's
Thank you
a
very
good
much.
call, but then it just got to be too much. You couldn't hear anything.
Have fun at the mosque, Steve. There's the religion of peace right there.
Well, I mean, you don't believe there are different degrees of orthodoxy in the Muslim religion?
I don't
Muslim
know.
like Jews and
It
Christians?
sounds to me. Okay, let me. You want to take more calls?
Well, I want to hear what you have to say.
It sounds to me that you made a deal, that you took someone to church to expose them to Jesus, which is a great and glorious thing, but you made a deal in exchange, you're going to go to their mosque. You're proselytizing to somebody and you made a deal. Okay, I'll go to your mosque, but you got to come.
That's not the case. I mean, I didn't
Oh.
make any deals. It was suggested to me to think about it, and my initial reaction was no, and then I realized it might be very interesting to find out.
Okay, I was trying to give you an out, Steve. Hold on, Steve. And hold on one second here. The phones are ringing off the hook. All right, do you want to take
Why
more?
do I need an out to keep an open mind?
There's only one religion, Steve. It's Christianity. Jesus. That's it. That's it.
Where are you going to church now?
I go to the Catholic Church. My wife and I became Catholics.
Okay.
So I go to a couple of local Catholic church. Cool thing about being Catholic, you can go to any Catholic church anytime, any day of the week. It's all the same, right? It's the same message in all the churches every week. So it doesn't matter. You don't have to go to a specific one. But we're going to go to a break, okay? And we'll come back with the gold report, and then we'll take some more calls, okay?
Sounds good.
All right. I will put you on hold. And what a concerning discussion. All right. If you're on hold, stand by. We'll be right back. All right, we're back. It's the Steve Kane Show. I'm Brian Stevens here. It's time to check in with William Youngerman from the offices of William Youngerman Incorporated in Boca with today's gold and precious metals report. William Youngerman, how are the metals looking today?
Metals continue this sideways action with gold finding support at $4,000 and resistance at $4,100. Yesterday we were up $23.90 on gold, closing out the day at $4,075.60. Silver gained 26 cents at $58.29. Platinum was up $32 at $1,617. And palladium was up $43 at $1,270. Right now, we've got gold hitting a low this morning of $4,016 right now at $4,032.60. That's down $43. Silver down 98 cents at $57.31. Platinum down $15 at $16.02. And palladium down $23 at $12.47. Oil continues to head lower, $81.50 a gallon right now, or the barrel, I mean. And that's pretty much where we are.
Yeah, now, we were talking yesterday about how you can do all of your transactions over the phone and through the mail with William Youngerman. And, William Youngerman opens up at 10 a.m. Eastern Time, of course, and you can give him a call toll-free, 1-800-327-5010, 1-800-327-5010. And if you can stop in, please do. His address in Boca is 150 East Palmetto Park Road in Boca, on the first floor of the Bank of America building, just east of US 1 Federal Highway, immediately east of US 1 Federal Highway on the south side of Palmetto Park Road, on the first floor of the Bank of America building. And you can find both his address and phone number online at williamyoungerman.com. All right, William Youngerman, we'll touch base tomorrow.
Okay, have a great day.
All right, take care. All right, you back with us, Steve?
Yes.
Okay. All right. You want to take more calls?
Yes.
All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, good morning. It's Jim from New York. How you doing?
Not well.
Hey, James.
Good. So that nut from New Jersey, I think he was one of the ones who was dancing in the streets after the 9/11 attacks in Jersey. You could tell that guy was one of these Islamic nutcases.
Mm-hmm.
But Steve, I will disagree with Brian on one thing. There are normal, everyday, cool Muslim. There's normal, everyday, cool Muslim people.
Really? Who?
That being said, Steve.
Yes.
They have no desire. They want to convert you.
Yes.
They want to convert you when you're there. Your buddy who went you to the church, he had no desire to Christianity. They want to convert.
I think that's probably right. I think there's probably a debate. Do you know how many Muslims are there on Earth? Do you know that?
1 billion.
More than 1 billion.
Yeah.
At least.
Several billion.
Steve,
but I'm sure there are many. There's a segment of the Muslim population that is into conversion. I don't doubt that for a second. But
so caller,
everybody.
I think caller, are you saying that Steve's friend is trying to convert him to Islam?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
I think so.
I agree.
And Steve, not for nothing. Maybe Steve, maybe you get some good intel and hear some of the hate that's spewed at the mosque. You just keep a low profile. Maybe you'll hear some intelligence.
You don't think you think of the 40 billion or however many on Earth Muslims that there are? You think they're all hateful? You think they're all building?
No, I disagree with Brian on that.
Okay, well, all right.
No, I do not.
But the religion is. But the religion is. But the religion is.
Right, the religious fundamentals. It is. That is absolutely right. So I don't know.
I would be, Steve. I'll tell you. I mean, I don't.
A segment of the Muslim. Understand what I'm saying. I'm just saying, in my view, a segment of the Muslim population is what you're saying is true of.
Yeah.
Or fanatics.
Yeah.
Or whatever phrase you want to use. But I'm saying there are different groups. It doesn't mean everybody is prone to violence, or that everybody approves of violence, or that everybody commits violence.
It sounds like they've given you a good workover on this. I mean, you seem halfway there, Steve. I'm really concerned. No, we have not. We have not.
Steve, Steve's gonna be taking vacation at Ramadan this year. You ain't gonna hear him for that.
You can't eat for a month, Steve. You know, I'm going to tell you this. I'm going to tell you this. I wouldn't want you to go anywhere other than a Christian church of any denomination. I would be less concerned if you were going to the Church of Scientology in Clearwater this weekend than this. I really would, because I know it.
I really appreciate your concern, but I don't mean to short credit you for your concern, but I'm just saying all Muslims, like all Jews, like all Christians, are not identical.
Yeah, but the religion is not, first off, it's not the true religion. You'd have to deny Christ to become a Muslim. That's number one. Okay? And don't let them tell you anything different.
Correct.
They believe they'll tell you that they believe in Jesus. That's not true. What they teach is that Jesus was a man who lived but was not a prophet from God, and you have to deny Jesus to become a Muslim. And I'm not going to go anywhere with a bunch of Jesus deniers and worship there.
And Steve, not for nothing, if you look at communities that are predominantly Muslim, do they assimilate to our Western culture?
Yeah.
Not even close.
There's definitely a segment of the Islamic religion that what you're saying is true of. There's no question of that. I'm not arguing that. I'm just saying everybody is not the same.
I wish your friend was into Kabbalah. Because I'm telling you, because you know with Kabbalah, remember that with Kabbalah and the Church of Scientology, it's so expensive to join. You would never pay what you got to pay to join these places. But the Muslims are they're gonna see you coming, Steve. They're gonna roll out the red carpet for you, and you're at least halfway there.
I think the only Muslim that ever converted to Christianity was Rashid. Remember that dude on FTL, Rashid?
No, did he convert to Christianity? That black Muslim's not the same. It's no bad. It's not. It's a different thing. You know, you're talking about. You know, black Muslims are a little different. No, this is concerning to me, and it's an uncomfortable discussion. Tell you the truth.
Obviously.
Well, Steve. Hopefully, we're talking some sense here. And if you do go, keep a low profile and take notes on whatever.
They're gonna give him a different version than They talk differently around. I mean, come on. Plus, what they'll see this is Steve. You're like the perfect target for them, right? You're a Jew. You've got a platform and you're vocal and you reach people. You're the kind of guy they want.
You're an infidel, Steve. They're coming at you. Better be careful.
It's not funny. He's not joking, Steve.
It's not. I'm not joking.
He's serious as a heart attack.
And not for nothing, Steve, being Jewish. I mean, my God, man, you're public enemy number one.
And what?
On the list.
To do what? To kill me?
They don't like Jews, Steve. If you haven't noticed.
You're the Zionist. You're the infidel. Come on.
The problem I'm having is the word they.
Oh my
I think
goodness.
there are different beliefs within the Islamic community.
No.
I don't think everybody is the same.
Nope.
I think with all, basically, in my opinion, with all religions, there are people that are Orthodox and that celebrate their faith in a different way than those who are not. And
Have you? Steve, honest question here. Have you already been to this mosque?
No, that's why I'm trying to.
Because you're talking like, have they visited you at home?
No.
Okay, because I mean, it sounds like you're talking out of the pamphlet.
No.
On how to talk to Jews and other infidels.
So wait a minute, Steve. Did you say your daughter's going with you to this month?
No, not my daughter.
An unknown friend.
Oh, okay.
That he won't identify.
I'd say because if your daughter was going, she'd have to cover up everywhere, because they
Get the burqas out.
themselves and they oppress women.
Get the burqa. Yeah. Oh, yeah. They're great on women's rights.
Hold on. The rules you're talking about, which are accurate for some Muslims.
Oh my goodness.
Covering the face and all that. You understand that it's not that there are Islamic women that do not do that. You understand that, right?
Not in the mosque. The mosque is a requirement.
And a lot of what you're seeing, Steve, is how they're trying to convert. Like they go around like that in this country they're trying to mainstream this oppressive religion. So there's a lot of things that you're seeing that aren't really. Iran, the Islamic Republic of Iran, that's how it is. Everything else you're seeing is a cover.
What do you remember about Wally Ferris? We've done a lot of shows with him. We've done special events.
No, but not about the religion. He's a policy expert on terrorism. He's an expert on terrorism.
Yes.
Did Waleed reach out to you? I haven't talked to him in years.
I haven't talked to him in years, but he didn't reach out to me.
Okay.
But I'm glad you remember him. But do you think he was behind the 9/11 attacks?
I don't even know if he was Muslim. He could have been an ex-Muslim.
Yeah, the Arab American Anti-Defamation League. You don't know if he's Muslim?
No. He wasn't with CARE. He was. I can't remember the name of the organization.
He was the spokesperson.
No. That was not him. That was somebody else. You got your Muslims confused.
All
right. You got to stay away from that place, Steve. All right, caller.
Yeah, this is like the Jehovah's Witnesses on steroids.
I would rather you become a Jehovah's Witness than go to the mosque. I'd be more comfortable with that. Prince was a Jehovah's Witness.
Then again, what makes you comfortable isn't the issue.
All right. Well, you brought it up to me, so I'm just, all right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Brian from Deerfield. Hi, Steve. Hi, Brian. How are you today?
Not well.
First off, well, we love you. We love Steve. We love you. We love Brian,
Yes.
too. Well, we hate. I don't want to see you getting into a bad situation. Steve, all you need is one nut job over there, and you could have an incident.
Let me ask you a question. Hold on. I value, I know you, and I appreciate your sincerity. I want to ask you one question, all right?
Absolutely.
Do you think I would have gone into this profession if I was afraid that there was a nutbag in my audience? How long have you been listening to this show?
For years and years. See, the problem is
right.
From you when you first began your radio career in that, we are in a very heightened time now, where someone who is Jewish and also a media personality get a lot of publicity if some type of a situation involved in this mosque. And I'm not just saying maybe in the mosque. I'm saying in the parking lot of the mosque. You really have to be careful, Steve. You really do. I mean,
they could bring out the whole red carpet for Steve. They could bring out the virgins and everything for him to convert him because he's, whatever. See what I mean? So whatever you report back, I'm not going to take as the real deal. Because you're going to get if they know you or who you are or anything else.
It's so hard for you guys to get in your head that everybody's not the same.
I'm going to write this off. We only have a minute left. We have less than a minute left. But I'm going to write this show off today as you're just pulling my leg.
I say we carry it over to tomorrow. I want to hear from the audience. We unfortunately did not hear from a lot of audience.
I try to talk you out of going, I think, but yeah.
I don't care. Let them call and I want to get their impression.
You've gotten it. You've gotten it. You've gotten it.
Well, Steve, they want to go after the first family. I've never heard of this before in my life.
Mm-hmm.
They could go after a personality on the radio.
We're being colonized by Muslims. Ahmed in Michigan.
Yes.
Minnesota's fallen.
I got a daughter who lives in England. Do you think you're going to tell me that?
Okay, all right. Well, listen, we're out of time. We're out of time, but we'll be back tomorrow.
Look at New York.
Yeah, exactly. All right.
Absolutely.
It's the Steve Kane Show. I'm Brian. Steve Kane, of course, has been here. We'll see you tomorrow morning at 6 a.m. All right, guys. Hey, listen, I got to run. Before you go, if you're new, welcome and subscribe, okay? And those of you that are already subscribed, please like the video before you go, all right? When you like the video, you get it recommended to people that have not yet found the channel, all right? My name is Brian.